Folks, sometimes life can be hard. Sometimes life wants you to walk through 2 garages to get to your new desk setup with the fancy ring light and built-in cup holder. Other times life will tell you to go shit the hopes, dreams, and opinions of others. As if you have any fucking idea what that's supposed to mean. And then every single day, life will tell you to stop putting more jerk oil on your chorizo burger and go to heshirtsheshirt.com to order a custom shirt. It's super easy. Simply put down the bottle of oil, grab some hand sanitizer, and apply it to your pecs. And use your mouse or phone to venture over to heshirtsheshirt.com to check out what shirts they have in store. Seriously, my God, this store has everything. Gorditas, Buzz Hotties, an unlimited Gorditas, wow. An unlimited supply of cotton candy Bang energy drink, and everyone's favorite activity, yak shaving.
Oh,
what
I love
is yak shaving? You may ask. No, it doesn't involve taking a pair of shears to yak testicles. It's any seemingly pointless activity which is actually necessary to solve a problem, which solves a problem, which several levels of recursion later solves the real problem you're working on. So don't forget, after you finish yak shaving, to input the code JSGcast to get 10% off your he shirt, she shirt order, so you can help support an amazing store and a marvelous podcast. And now please enjoy this semi-weekly, semi-monthly, semi-whenever the fuck we feel like recording episode of Just Some Guardians. Laz, my friend, you never disappoint me with these ad reads. They are incredible week after week after week after month. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 106 of Just Some Guardians. We're here, we're live, twitch.tv/JustSomeGuardians, Friday night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. We are recording a show. It's been a hot minute. I know. We talked about why that was on the last episode. Well, I did because I edited it, so I was able to do that. But, so yeah, if you listen to that, you're caught up. We're here now. We're back in it. We're in the move. We're in the swing of things. Life is good. Russell will be joining us. The effervescent Russell's not with us currently. He's in the middle of a meeting, but he will be joining us shortly to have this great conversation about the PlayStation showcase that happened yesterday, as of recording, that had some incredible titles announced, some more gameplay and whatnot. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight with a beautiful, incredible, voluptuous returning guest. It is the one and only Clearnite. Oh, the crowd goes wild. What's up, Stud?
Thank you. Hey, man. How you doing?
I am wonderful.
Great to be here.
It's great to have you here again. Like, seriously, I was looking.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, it's been over a year. I think you were on our last episode before we stopped recording for a year.
That's about right, because that seems to be my modus operandi.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to say
have
is,
a few of those.
Clearnite ruined it for us. We couldn't record for a year, so we're back to recording. But after tonight, who knows?
It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, coming up on the year, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's just take another break. Life will be good.
Renew this sucker. Let it auto renew again. Is it still allowed to renew?
Yeah. But I know this time.
That's a good thing. Yep.
Oh my God.
No, seriously, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's always fun to be on. It's been a while for any of this stuff, so even we haven't really. I mean, I can't even comment because we haven't recorded in over a year too. And I was like, that was the one episode where we're like, all right, we're not gone, we'll be back, and it's like that was like April of 2020.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It goes by so fast.
You
don't even think about it. You're like, stuff's going on, life's happening. We'll be back in like a couple months or something. And then it's been a year, and Podbean renews itself, and you go, "Oh shit, I have a podcast."
Yeah. It's like, dang, well, we're using this, we're paying for something, so let's do some stuff. So that makes sense, But it is good. It is good to talk. It's just sometimes like just finding people's schedules, as getting everybody together,
it's
and
a
organizing that kind of stuff, and then trying to be effervescent and fun.
Yes, always. Well, it's funny. You'd think it'd be. The year we were gone would have been the easiest year to record.
One would
Because
think.
scheduling with people, everyone would have just been home, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we were like, no, that's too easy for us. Can't do it.
Mm-hmm. No, no. I mean, you're more tired. Your kids are more home. There are things like end of the night. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna put the kids down. Then next day I know it's like it's 2:30 a.m. Okay, all right. Well, I guess that my gaming time is my normal evenings, and that's usually what ends up happening. Like tonight, I made sure to put an alarm down. I didn't need it. I actually did, get up after some of them started falling asleep. I started hearing the little sounds, the little, not they don't snore, but like just sounds you can tell when they're
Oh,
like
yeah,
not talking
absolutely.
anymore. Because a couple of my boys like to talk and talk, like they're quiet most of the evening at times, and all of a sudden we're in bed and we're about to go to bed. It's like, and they start talking about life and the day, and it's like, okay, I love these talks, these are amazing, but we gotta go to sleep.
Oh, well, it's
Let's
like,
talk in the morning.
yeah. Because like the kids will get home from school and I'm like, hey, how's, that's when you want to have those talks,
Yeah,
How
yeah.
was your
What was your
day?
favorite
How was
day? Yeah,
school? And,
yeah.
yeah, fine. And then they go run and play. And
It's
yeah,
good.
you're right. The second you lay down in bed, well, so and so did this and I loved this part. And you're like, I
Hmm.
want this, but it's
Hmm.
time for sleep.
Yeah, I know. It just any routine is just it throws it off. So it's good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But just the energy, and my boys are 6 now, so just 6.5. So they're just at that high energy part where they just don't get tired. Like I mentioned to you pre-show that I just started them playing going into karate, and so I think this is their third week in karate, and we can go up to 3 or 4 times a week, which is great because we're like going every time it's available. Like it's like try and tire them out, and then they had school today, and we didn't do karate tonight because it wasn't the night, but half the times like they come back from karate and like, hey, what about, and they're eating dinner, and then all of a sudden they're bouncing. I'm like, all right, go outside. Go run around.
Go somewhere
Go,
else.
go outside. Go run outside because they're in the karate place and they'll do like exercises and things like that before they get to the actual shtick. That they're learning, and they're like, oh, I'm tired. I'm doing that. You can hear, oh, I'm getting tired. Like I look at my wife, it's like, they ain't tired. They just
No,
don't want to do this routine. That's what they're doing. They
exactly.
don't get tired.
They're
They don't know what
exhausted
tired is.
until you're ready to lay down. And then all of a sudden it's
Like,
jump,
hello.
jump, twirl, twirl, spin. Yeah, my son will flail. It's funny. He does a hard stop because he'll just he'll flail around in bed and roll every which
Yeah.
direction, turn his head the other way, put his feet in your face, turn around, roll all over you, and just crazy everywhere. Then all of a sudden it's just like, boom, nothing. And you turn over and he's just like in a weird position and snoring his butt off. You're like, man, it's just on, off. That's
It's
it.
that one moment it's like, okay, they stop moving.
Be very, very careful.
They're very quiet, getting up. Like, luckily, they're pretty much hard sleepers, but it's just I don't have to sneak out too much. Originally, I had to do like ninja stuff, but it's not too bad. But man, just you don't want to be that one creak that goes, where are you going?
And it takes what if you're not in their bed, like if they're already sleeping, you go in the room, like you can drop pots and pans and they won't nudge. But if you're trying to leave
morning
their
for school.
bed, yeah, if you're trying to leave their bed and a car honks its horn 3 states over, they're like, huh, what was that? What was that?
Yeah, that fireworks. It's like,
Yeah,
no,
like, come on. Oh my God. Yeah. It's so funny.
it's fun though. But yeah, it's like, okay, now that's rest time. It's relaxation time, so it's very easy to fall into that. So
Yeah, my daughter's 8 now and she's doing this thing. And I get it. Like we had welcome to Just Some Father Talk.
yeah,
But so her room gets like crazy hot during the summer. And so she slept in Ethan's room all summer because he's down in the basement and it's like, oh, it gets nice and chilly even in the middle of summer down here,
nice. Yeah,
So she was in his room all summer. And so now that she's moved back to her room, she's having like separation anxiety from like being alone again. And it's just, it's like, you understand mental health, and then like you understand it's a thing, but at the same time you're like, just go to sleep.
yeah.
It's a weird line like if it was a friend, like you'd be 100% like, yeah, no, do your thing, figure it out. But when it's your kid, you're like, just, I don't know, get over it and go to sleep.
Get over it. Come on, move along.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It's been, she'll be passed out and you'll roll over to leave and you're like touching the doorknob and she's suddenly, boom, up in bed. Don't leave me, please. You're like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like an hour process, man.
What was that? Where are you going? So
You were snoring. No, I wasn't asleep. You are snoring.
Yeah. Well, now it's the I had a bad dream, which they do have a lot of times.
Oh
But there's
yeah.
one son Owen, he'll be like he's laying there, and I know he's not asleep yet, and he's like, I just had a bad dream. It's like, you didn't have a bad dream. You're anticipating the bad dream.
Yes.
And a lot of it's going back to school and back into the nature. Like my boys did. This is the first year at this new school, so it's a little bit of a different thing. Luckily, they're all together, which is good.
Oh
We
yeah.
at some point they may separate, but for the first year and changes and stuff, they're all in the same classroom, which has been good actually, for them, because they can all just huddle together, empty them out of the minivan, and they walk into the school, and then we pick them up same way. But I'd noticed that he's been having more of these like nightmare dreams, and he'll just like want to just come into bed and just like, all right, Kyle's like, all right, it's fine. So he knows to come over to my side, because when he goes to mommy's side, it's like, stop bothering mommy. I set him down one time. It's like, stop bothering mommy. Do you like mommy when she's upset and tired? No, daddy doesn't either. So if you want to wake somebody up,
Do
wake me
this
up.
for us. Yeah.
This
I
for
can
us.
handle it.
And they got it. Like I'm learning them real early. Like,
Oh yeah.
happy wife, happy life. You just got
Mm-hmm.
to know this. Happy mommy, happy life. Same thing. You know what I mean? So like, you wake me up. So I'll just get that little tap, tap, tap. And I don't even ask anymore. It's like, dream. Yeah, okay. And it's there. Sometime around 3 or 4 a.m. typically. It's like,
Oh yeah,
they're
dude.
there. I'm not messing with it anymore. But then the other brothers be like, why is he in bed? It's like, so it's like they haven't started tag teaming that yet, but they do.
So you find this hidden calendar under the bed, and they've got this whole schedule put out. All right, you're
Right.
you're in there this day and this day and this day, and I'm this day and this day and this day.
Yeah, that's what eventually it's going to be. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Izzy's been doing that too, where you're like, it's been maybe 3 minutes. Like
Hmm.
we put her, she's asleep. You get her out of the room safely. She hasn't bolted up saying don't leave. And like the second you get downstairs, she's like right behind you. I had a nightmare. You're like, it's been
Hmm.
45 seconds. There's no way you've already had a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. You haven't slept yet. You haven't even gone to REM yet. They don't know what that means, but like, you haven't gone into REM. You haven't had dreams. You don't even know what dreams. I don't even
You
get
don't
REM
know.
anymore.
You don't know
I don't,
nothing, kid.
I can't remember the last time I dreamed. You know why? Because I don't sleep long enough.
Because you're constantly bothering me, kids.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude, that's so fun.
It is. It's. You can laugh at it if you're not crying about it, but like, you have to laugh at it.
Oh yeah. No,
It's like, yeah.
in the moment you're like, please, for the love of God, like I will give up my kidney for you to go to sleep right now.
Yeah. It's like, I'm so tired. Please, please go.
Jesus,
The best
man.
part though too is when the final thing is like nowadays they open up for school, and you have to do the shade thing. It's like, no, and they cover it up and stuff. But like, I know tomorrow Saturday. Yeah, are they gonna sleep in? Yeah, we'll sleep in. No, they don't sleep in.
Nope.
Again, the one as soon as he sees any little crack of light, we have darkening shades, especially in our bedrooms. It's like darkening shade. Doesn't matter. It's like he's got the clock, internal clock, 6:30. It's like, get in there. Just lay,
Hmm.
We'll be good. Just relax. So,
That's how my 4-year-old is. The second any sunlight comes through. So we actually went out and got like really thick blinds for his window, and it's worked like a charm, man. Yep. We have to go in there and wake him up now on Saturdays and whatnot, because no sun gets through, so he doesn't wake up. But yeah,
yeah.
he'd get up. We'd constantly be, what was that from? I think the first Frozen, when they're little
Hmm.
kids, and Anna was like,
Hmm.
"The sky's awake, so
Hmm.
I'm awake, so we have to play." We
Yeah.
quote that that's every time he'd wake up in the morning and come in, "Mom, Dad," and we'd roll over and laugh and quote it. It was fun.
Hmm.
Jesus, dude. Well, how's school going for the kiddos?
Good.
This is our talk now. Enjoy.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, this is probably their first full week that they've had. Like, even this was 4 because of the Monday holiday. Speaking of, here you go. Aw.
Night, baby. Love you. I love you. I love you.
Is he so cute?
You can close the door.
That's my sound dynamic.
How dare you?
That's
Anyway,
been good.
sorry.
This was a 4-day week, so that was probably close enough to be a full week. Between we had the weather, we had the remnants of Ida. So I'm in PA, so we didn't have Ida hit, but we had the remnants of it. So we had some flooding.
Yeah.
My sunroom flooded again, so it's the only issue I've had is my sunroom is flooding. So it's not the main house, but it's still got to take care of it somehow. I'll figure it out. But yeah,
It's
so
an indoor
this
pool
is really
now.
the
Life
first.
is good.
Yeah, indoor pool. Yeah, it would be nice. So, and outside the mosquitoes are really bad right now too. So it's like,
Oh yeah, I didn't
my
think
son
about
came
that.
in and he had a bite here, and he's like me. They just love me, and when they get bites, I don't get bites. I get welts. Like he had like boom, 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 and I was like, Benadryl to go grab the because he was just itching like crazy, and at some point between getting out from school and getting into the house, at some point he ran into some mosquitoes at some point. So it's just kind of crazy.
Ugh.
But they've been good. You know, they actually got iPads for their class, so they were able to bring it home one day because we had one virtual day because the day after I went through our area, there was just a mess in the area, so a lot of flooding, a lot of trees down. We were lucky we didn't have any trees down in our area because I don't have any trees in my yard for the first time ever, but the area was just a mess, and my wife had to go to
Oh, I
work.
totally
So
believe it.
but we didn't. We were supposed to do a virtual day, but it's like they didn't. That was the first week of school. They didn't actually give out anything. Like the older kids get Chromebooks, the younger kids get iPads, which is kind of a weird thing, but that's just how they do it. But then they got them yesterday, and they brought them home, so they had to take them home again. Like they bring back to school. But it was like it's actually pretty cool. It's actually a really nice iPad. It's like they got
Yeah.
like 30 games on it. I'm like they got a huge protector on it, which is really cool. So can't install anything new or remove it. So they were enjoying that. So they got home, and that was just them on the couch. We try and avoid that too much, screen time, but it was something new, and they had
It's
to
for
turn it
school.
back. So
It's for education.
yeah, it was education stuff.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so
Yeah, my
I didn't
daughter,
know.
they send her home with the Chromebook, and it's like, I'm like, this is crazy. I look at like how this last year has gone for these little kids with school, and I'm like, honestly, I don't think I could have done it. There's no way I could have done
Especially
this.
that young.
Yeah,
No,
it's
not
nuts.
that young. Just no. Now we were lucky enough that we actually skipped kindergarten for them because in PA kindergarten was required. They actually went back to school with my wife because she teaches preschool, so they went back and stayed with the same teacher, and they did the kindergarten routine with their preschool teacher again for the
Uh-huh.
same for this whole last year previously to this year, and they were in school the entire year. Like they had a couple times where they had to go out remote because there's things are in the school obviously for obvious reasons and stuff, but generally they were 90% of the time they were in school, and it was amazingly much better because how do you have preschool, toddlers, any of that stuff on a virtual? It
It
doesn't
doesn't work.
work.
No.
It
Oh my
doesn't
God,
work.
no.
Older
It was hard
kids
enough
have troubles,
for,
but
yeah, my daughter was in second grade last year during all that. And like, even for a second grader, like like no one was paying attention. They
yeah.
drifted so easily. Yeah, there's no way for a preschooler to do that.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I had that problem with my own work at times. Like,
Oh
if
my
it's like a
God,
light
yeah.
day, it's like, hey, there's a new update that came out. It's like, well, I've got a few monitors here, so I can keep my communication stuff up here, and I do a
Uh-huh.
lot. I can just do stuff when it works, but I'm not like having to do something 99% of the time unless I'm on a project or something like that. So I'm just kind of like watching the guard kind of thing. So like, okay, well, there's an update here. It's like, oh, no, that's expedition. Okay, cool. Put it aside, do some stuff, multitask. So, but it's nice because it's we're still remote, and I didn't have any problem with being remote. But my wife's like, I don't know how you become remote. It's like I kind of enjoy it. I kind of like I mean, talk to people, I video chat with people and stuff. But
Yeah,
I like
you
people.
can
But
roll out of bed and go to work.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, just have to wake them up and all that, and set them up for school. Now I drop them off and stuff. But after that, I get home. It's like okay, all right, I can shower or not, but I can just chill, have my coffee, and just see what I have to do in the morning. The morning's usually busier because that's where stuff comes in typically, and just kind of chill as it goes through the day. So it's not too bad.
That's
So
awesome, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's so like going back to the kids not being able to pay attention and whatnot. Like even me,
oh
like you
yeah,
said, as adults, like I'm on my route, like I'm walking my route, arm full of
right.
mail, and I still like my mind will wander and I'll get a few houses and I'll go, shit, I had a package for that house because my brain just clicks into like wander. I'm physically doing stuff and
Yeah,
walking, and my mind will still wander off, and I'm not paying attention. I'm like, oh crap, right, I'm doing something. It's just it doesn't get better with time. I thought it would, and it does not.
no. If anything, it gets worse. I think in some ways.
Yeah.
It's
Oh my
like
god,
it's like
absolutely.
I'm not paying attention. If I'm putting something down, I went out. One thing I needed. It's like the one thing I went out for. I forgot. I got everything else, but I
Yes.
went to the Walgreens or something for something. It's like the one thing I forgot. Did you get this? Like crap.
No, but I did get some Reese's. Is that cool?
Look,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Usually, I mean, being an M&M's, that kind of stuff. It's usually two for one bag. Got these.
Oh well, Clearnite. I squeaked. I'm going through puberty. A lot of changes
His voice
happening. A
changed.
lot of changes happening in my life here. It's been crazy. But you haven't been on the show in a long time, but we talk about you, Anytime Xbox Game Pass comes up, like your name has to come up, right? You are the salesman of the
Sponsored by
world.
Clearnite or its affiliates.
Yeah. Hashtag make Clearnite an affiliate. Yeah. But
It's
like
such a good deal, though. Like
it is. No, dude, do the spiel. Sell it again. Go.
like I love the deals. Like man, usually I haven't been finding as good of a deals recently. Usually I don't pay full price, but I usually find something. You know, the 1 month for the 3 month for $1, and then you could find an extension, and then for a while you would do the Amazon thing where you could like buy a digital card, and they were doing like 1 for 2, and then if you put the auto renew, you get a third month free. So I got like I don't know, a full year worth, and I was on regular game, the gold pass for a while too, and they converted that, and I was like they converted, and I ended up having like 9 months. So I pretty much haven't paid full price for Game Pass since June of 2019. I look
awesome.
because it comes up because you have to go in your history. Like you can see when you buy, like okay, I did a gift card here, I redeemed here, but it's like when was the actual last renewal? It was like yep, June of 2019. So even recently, it was like all right, well I got $11 per month instead of 14. That was better, but it's it's better than full price, but still, it's like but it's a great deal, man. I mean,
It's
there's
an
even a few more
incredible
things
deal.
that came out.
If
Like the new
you
game I wanted to try, the Craftopia. I haven't had a chance to put that on yet, but that just
Yeah.
came out. It's like
Yeah, I got to try that the other day, and it's there. It's gotten to a point now. Once again, we will say this every episode. If you play on Xbox or PC, especially if you're a PC gamer and you don't have Xbox Game Pass, like you're not gaming to the full potential. The amount of games you just get access to, it's to the point now where like a game will be announced, and if they say it's not going to be on Game Pass, I'm like, who do you think you are? Like it feels weird to not have a game on there. But yeah, like you said, Craftopia just came out. I got to jump in there for free.
I just looked. Breath Edge just came out, just new today, I think, or maybe yesterday. That looked pretty interesting.
I've got like 12 games installed on Xbox Game Pass right now that I go around and play most of them all the time.
Yeah. Hi, I mean, if you play a little bit,
I'm doing my podcast. You can't watch that podcast. Come here.
Visual bit. We have a little guest visitor checking in on the podcast.
Do you want to tell me what's the game you've been playing? You want to talk about it? What have you been playing lately? Have you been playing any Mario? What games are you playing?
I was just playing at the park.
Yeah, do you want to come talk about it? Come here. Okay, well you gotta
Cameras on, they run away.
She's upstairs.
Where?
I don't know. Do you want to go find her?
Or can you come with me?
I gotta do my podcast. Do you want a Reese's? Okay.
Ooh, Reese's.
Yeah, definitely bribing the kid right now.
That's gonna work.
Yep, right in there. In the mini fridge.
Other tip for you.
Oh yeah. Always, man. Bribing works 100% of the time.
Yep. Snacks don't usually work for my boys for some reason. It seems like I have to do other things that we were talking about. So.
All right. Ooh, that was a solid high five.
That was nice.
Oh, did you hear that? That was really
I heard
good.
that. I was like, nice. I don't know if it came through on the. I heard that.
I did this.
Yeah. All right. You want to close the door behind you? I love you. Ha ha ha. But yeah, funny. I have like 12 games installed, and all the time. It's so I actually made a mental note. I think it was a month ago or so, where I was like I'm always talking about Xbox Game Pass. I used to just sit down and just remember to look at games all the time. Yeah. And there's so many things that just I'm like, oh, I never tried that. All right, let's try it because it's just there. It's such a good deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my only complaint with the whole thing is the Xbox app itself, as we've talked about, is just not the most intuitive.
Oh yeah,
and every once in a while, I'll have like an update that just it takes a little bit longer, or it didn't quite update properly. Like Steam is like nonstop. It's like boom, oh, there's an update. Oh, there's like 2K update. Boom, Steam's already got it. Whereas with Microsoft, you're like, I know there's an update. I know No Man's Sky or Sea of Thieves updated. Can you please update, please? It keeps giving me this beard. I know the Bumblebee error or whatever it is. Can you please update? So that's the only issue I would say is they just need to fix a little bit more of that part of it.
I agree.
PC. So works great on console. I mean, my console, I did actually get one of the new Series S's, just because it's reasonable price and just
Oh,
sometimes you
nice,
just want to
man.
sit back and play it. And
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
available in the wintertime. And sometimes you just don't feel like, it's like certain games, you know how it is. Like, all right, this is working great, and yeah, my system is good, but it's not like bleeding edge. It's decent enough. I got the Radeon, and it's a good system. But like, just to have it work without any issues, nothing like that, and just have it on the
Oh,
monitor
yeah,
too.
sometimes
So
you just like turn the PC on, get everything
Mhm.
open your wherever you have the game at and go in. Like sometimes it's nice to just press the power button on a controller, lay down on the couch and go, Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's easy enough. I mean, a few times we played Sea of Thieves, I was just on that too, just easier. For some reason, it's just like it was just acting up on the PC, and then all of a sudden, all right, I'll just log. Remember, I jumped out at one point, and we were playing
Yeah.
with the other two friends, and then I was like, oh man, I just screw it. I just ended up launching the Xbox and just came right on, and boom, we were good, and I didn't have a problem the rest of the night. So it was just every once in a while, just nature of things. But yeah, that's a great deal. So yeah, Game Pass, get it. But yeah, you're right. If you don't have it as a PC gamer, and especially if you've got an Xbox and a PC as well, like even the older one, like you might as well get it because it's just you can use it on both, and most of the games are on both systems. But there are a few that still do only come out on console, and a few that only come out on
Yeah.
PC. So it's I get the ultimate one with both. So
And yeah, and especially right because so many people are like trying to like there's nothing to play, there's no good games out there, and it's like, well, just get Xbox Game Pass. There's just try some shit. There's brand new games, there's old super old games, there's everything in between, every genre, and there's stuff I never would have tried were it not just like, oh, I paid for this, so let's try this game out and love it.
And they acquired Bethesda, so like they've got that entire library now too.
Yeah.
Like slowly coming onto it, and they pretty much have got I think 90% of all their stuff on there now. So it's like, why wouldn't you want to just try out the new Doom, Doom game too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing, it's like
it's just all there. It's so good, man. Like
it
yeah,
is.
and that is our weekly preaching of, hey, get Xbox Game Pass.
Game Pass, yep. I think the only people that, and I understand this, is like if you're just dedicated to one game, a lot of our Destiny friends, for example, like that's all they play is like very rarely anything else besides Destiny.
For 7 years straight. That's all they played.
Like enough. Yeah.
How?
But I understand that. I can't even. I got through the season in like a weekend. I'm like, I can't do another strike. Sorry, I just can't.
There's no way.
I just want to get to 1300 to play some VOG, and I can't. And I don't feel like doing these pinnacles. It's like,
let me fix the stream here real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us.
The effervescent one.
Let me do this real quick.
Namaste.
Jumping in late, he had his lovely meeting, like we said at the top of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the effervescent Russell.
Oh, every time you say it, I just
Oh, welcome to the show, my lad.
Thank you. How are you? How are you guys? Where have you guys gotten to?
We've been doing everything. Yeah, we're just talking about Xbox Game Pass right now. We've done everything but talk about PlayStation because we wanted to wait for you.
And how much it sucks because you just can't get it.
It's user error. You're just an idiot.
It is not you. Look.
No one else has an issue but you.
Look. Yes, but I'm special.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Fair point.
Yeah. You're very special.
Yeah. I like it. Like there are a lot of games available that I would love to be able to play.
Yeah, it's a great deal, man.
And there are some games that I can play, but I'm still salty about the fact that I couldn't play Dungeons and Dragons with.
There was that one time. Although I don't really missing a whole lot with that one. Just
Yeah.
I didn't get to play with you guys.
No,
you
that's
didn't
right.
miss out.
One
You
night.
didn't miss out.
One night. That's when we did play last.
That was not a great game at all.
No.
Holy shit.
No, the 1990s called and said, "Yeah, forget about us."
Well, Russell, how have you been?
Okay. I do have a story to tell.
All right, let's go.
It's the right time to tell it. So recently I was up in Wisconsin with Brett. We were there for a wedding of one of our really close friends, a normal, a past co-host, still co-host.
Yeah, who knows?
Nick, Sandbag Bob. And so we had gone up there for his wedding, and I'm convinced that your children got me sick.
They tend to, the preschool plagues and stuff. You know what I mean? That just happens.
Either that or it was the hotel room.
It was the house.
Hotel room.
Because
be
we're
that
all
too.
still like trying to, because they were not sick. Like the kids didn't get sick. It was just that the allergies, and we were just talking about this earlier on the show. And like my lungs are still hurting, and I'm trying to get over. Like it sucks, man. Yeah, that Airbnb just ruined us.
Yeah, or if you're on a plane, did you guys fly too? Because that's the other thing that'll kill you.
We flew.
Just the air in the plane just sometimes just brutal.
So it actually may have been the hotel room that they put me up in. So flights out of so I was flying from Green Bay to Detroit. Once everything was said and done, leaving, the flight gets delayed because of weather. At first, it was just like 10, 15 minutes. My second flight was delayed because of weather too, so I was like, not that big a deal. Excuse me. And then, so we pull up to the edge of the runway. They're like, hey, as soon as they give us the green light, boom, we're gone. Like, okay, cool. And then the pilot comes on and he's like, hey, by the way, he said there's another front coming up in behind, so it's actually going to be another hour. So we're just going to go ahead and unload everybody. And by this time, apparently Green Bay, like I thought Green Bay was going to be a larger airport. It's not. It's very, very tiny. So tiny, in fact, that they only had, I guess, 2 or 3 flights leaving from that terminal that day. So TSA had gone home. So we couldn't leave the terminal, or else we would not be able to get back in. So
that's insane. I've never heard that. That's whoa.
Yeah. So like 95% of the people just bailed automatically. They're like, yeah, whatever, we're gone. We don't need to get to where we're going tonight. We can wait until tomorrow or whatever. So, but me, it's not where I live, so I'm like, I got no choice. Guess I'm sticking around. And so like 95% of the people bailed. They get us onto the flight, and I'm like, I might make my flight at this point. We are supposed to land at the same time that the next plane takes off. So maybe. And because it's a weather issue, they don't give you a voucher for like a hotel stay or anything. Or they're not what's the word I'm looking for? They're not liable in that circumstance.
Yeah.
So they don't have to give you like a hotel room. Oh, we so I walk onto the plane, and as I'm walking past, I'm looking at this bin that's kind of, flopping. And one of the guys goes, yeah, we're not getting anywhere. That bin's broken. Somebody slammed it too hard or broke it or whatever. So I'm like, crap. So I'm like, well, maybe they'll just be able to, do whatever. So I sit down on my right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Duct tape it, whatever.
Yeah.
I sit down in my seat, and the flight attendant or the pilot comes on, and he's like, hey, we're not going to be able to take off for an hour and 15 minutes. It's going to take at least 45 minutes for a guy to get here, fix this bin because he's off site. And then, however long it takes him to fix it and do the paperwork and everything. So he's like, at least an hour and 15 minutes. And we're like, okay. And
not making that next flight. Yeah.
One of the guys, at this point, but now it's a maintenance issue. So I'm guaranteed a place to sleep other than the airport. So a guy leans over to me and he goes, why don't we just duct tape this thing down and get going? And I'm like, yeah. So it takes 45 minutes. The guy gets there. And I mean, like, right on. I mean, it was 45 minutes on the dot. He comes into the plane. He fiddles with the overhead bin for a second. And then he walks to the back of the plane. Walks forward. And the next thing I hear is, guy pulls out duct tape and duct tapes this overhead bin shut. And I'm like, so it takes an hour and 15 minutes because then it still takes him 30 minutes to complete the paperwork.
To say that he duct taped it?
Yeah, it's a 5-minute fix, and it takes an hour and 15 minutes for this to occur. So we take off, and I'm like, whatever. I've missed my flight. I've already texted my boss, and I'm like, hey, I'm not going to make it in the morning. I'm going to be on a plane. And so I get to Detroit, which should have been my first clue that things were about to start going wrong. Because up until this point, I had laughed everything off, and I'm like, whatever, it's
it's a
you know,
fun
what
story.
it is,
Ha
what
ha
it
ha
is. So I get up to the help desk. First of all, I mean, everybody and their mother had been delayed and missed their flights and whatever.
Right.
So just tons and tons of people are staying at these hotels. I get up to the help desk and I'm like, hey, and he was very nice, and we had a little chat, and I get kind of excited because at first he gives me a first class ticket, and I'm like, oh,
Hey, yeah, things are turning
okay,
around.
things are turning around. And he gives me the voucher for the hotel, and it's a Wyndham, and I'm like, Wyndhams are usually pretty good. This is okay.
Typically, yeah.
Yeah. So I go out to the buses. It's like another hour to even get on a bus because everybody
else,
everybody's there. So we finally get to the hotel. By this time, it's like midnight, midnight 30, something like that. And so I'm talking to the lady at the front desk because I'm a chatter, so I talk to everybody.
What?
And
no.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, because I'm like, hey, what's your name and how's your day going? And I'm like, man, you guys must be booked because it's like one bus after the other, just packed full of people. And she's like, yeah, she goes, we're actually overbooked tonight, so I don't know where I'm going to put all these people. And I'm like, woo, glad I got in when I did. I got a room. And they've got like this nice little like courtyard that looks like a jungle. Like, it's kind of cool. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm wandering around, and I'm like, it's an older hotel, but sure, whatever. That doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
I get to the hotel room. It is chicken crap brown walls. The floor is also like dark brown, like
Oh yeah.
poop brown, like and
Like that's right.
The paint's peeling a little bit, but I mean the beds are decent, and that's really all that I have time to see before I'm like I take off all my clothes and I slide naked in between the sheets.
Well, that's why
but
you're
I have
sick.
I'm wondering how he got sick.
Yeah. You crawled
No,
naked
but-
into the sheets of a poop-colored hotel in Detroit.
No, but I'm like,
how's the ointment working out for you
Yeah.
too?
So really, I just, but I've taken my shoes and my socks off, and I'm like, I'm plugging things up, and I take a couple of steps, and I'm like, this floor feels weird. Wait, is it damp? And about that time, it like starts to register in my head, and like I'm starting to do the hot foot thing, I step in something sticky.
Oh no.
And I'm like, there's a moment where and I'm like, no. And then it hits, and I'm like, there's something sticky on this floor. So I like jump up, and I'm like on the desk, like I've just done a vertical leap onto the desk, and I'm like looking at the floor, and there are these black spots all over the floor. Like there's a good 5 or 6 of them, and they're like in between the two beds. They're kind of everywhere. And then it's like as I'm looking at it, I'm like, that looks like like a sidewalk when somebody spits out their gum.
Yeah,
And then
they
just
do
100
the
people have walked over it.
yeah.
So it's just like that flat mashed in, and that's what it is. It's gum that apparently whoever was staying in this hotel room at whatever point in the past had just like, and not just once, but like several times was just like, and just spit their gum out on the floor.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this is gross. So I'm gonna go wash my feet off in the bath.
Mm-hmm.
So I like do the floor is lava thing over to the bathroom, and there's like these brown and yellow stains all around the toilet, and the floor of the shower, I kid you not, is tar black.
Oh.
And I was just like, I said nope, I went to bed, and I was like, I just need to get out of here as soon as I can in the morning.
Yeah, that I would have been on top of the bed in full clothing in that place.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
And then, even then, I'd be like, but it's
Yeah.
12:30, so probably.
And by this point, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, my flight leaves at 8:45, which means that I need to be there because I was planning on working some because I work remotely anyway. So I was gonna I was like, I'll just wake up early and I'll work at some at the airport. And so I got out of there like as soon as I could. Like I woke up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and like got all my stuff and took off. It's like I am not staying here any longer.
Yeah. That is
necessary.
100% why you're sick, is that room.
Yeah,
was-
I think we've understood the mystery now.
Yeah, that I don't know why that was a question. That seems pretty obvious.
It was disgusting. And I've stayed in a lot of hotel rooms.
Oh yeah, you have.
And a lot of them are pretty questionable. Not a lot of them, but a few of them. You know, because occasionally you'll be like, oh, this place is cheap, and you book it, and then you get there and you're like, mistakes.
That's why this is cheap. Yeah.
Mistakes were made. This was the filthiest, most disgusting. Like the air just felt sticky in there. Like there was dew underneath the lamp. From where?
You're hoping it was dew.
Yeah.
That's
not
optimistic
doo-doo.
of mine.
Yeah.
Everything was slightly moist, including the carpet. And I was just like that.
The sheets stuck together. Yeah. Oh yeah.
A little bit, and I was like, I'll just sleep on top.
Yeah.
I would have
Yeah,
completely stripped the bed and just. Yeah. Oh God.
I don't know
Russ.
if that would have been any better. I don't want to. I like because then you strip the bed and you see all the stains on it.
Yeah, that's true too.
So I'd rather not.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you look
So-
in the closet to see if there's an old blanket there, because most of the time those aren't used. So you go and grab the blanket from there, put that on top of the bed, because it's more than likely it's not been used. So it's probably not as nasty. So just
It
dusty,
was-
baby. Ugh.
It was bad. It was bad. It was the worst hotel room.
Oh God. But
I've ever
hey,
stayed
think
in.
about it. If you survive this sickness, you will have this story for the rest of your life.
It wasn't COVID. I got tested for that.
Oh yeah, yeah, same. Yeah, it's just
Just
allergies in
gross.
your hotel room.
yeah, disease, normal disease.
Yeah. Regular sickness still exists, folks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy
Yep,
shit.
What happens?
That's so what time did you finally get home?
I got home the next day at like 11 o'clock.
Jesus, man.
AM.
Yeah.
And I slept the whole rest of the day. I took a shower.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Immediately.
absolutely.
Oh yeah, immediate shower. That's like as soon as you come in the house, it's like
And then I just slept. I slept almost all day.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, we drove all the way back down to Milwaukee, walked onto our airplane. There was like not a lot of people on it, so the kids both got window seats. Lifted right off, flew home, landed, got off, and went home. It was so nice, Russ.
Shut your face.
It was such a
You
pleasant
sh-
experience.
You shut your dirty.
We went.
dirty
There was
face.
a Chili's in the airport. So we got a bunch of chicken strips right before our flight, and they let us take them on. So we just sat there in the plane, eating chicken strips and playing the Switch, and just went home. It was great.
Did they let you guys take your leftovers
Yeah,
from lunch?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
yeah. We just carried it all onto the
they
plane,
don't
and we were
provide food
good.
anymore.
Yeah.
They don't care if you bring food on anymore. Yeah.
We found this really cool place that was like on the river in Green Bay.
Like
And
right
they
on the
had-
riverfront. Oh, it was
Yeah.
gorgeous.
And they had this burger that was a quarter pounder of meat,
Mm-hmm.
macaroni and cheese,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and then pulled pork and barbecue sauce.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Like
God.
a brioche bun.
It was so good.
Yeah, just because you don't need any more carbs, you need to do the brioche. It's like, let's put this
Oh,
on
yeah,
brioche.
absolutely.
We
Well,
want
you
this thing
need
thicker.
with that much sauce, you need a bun that's not going to fall apart on you.
That's
A
true,
lot of
too,
people
yeah.
make these sloppy
Fair.
sandwiches and then put a bun that can't handle it on it, and then
Yeah.
you're just eating it with a fork. It's just a salad, but instead of lettuce, it's bun.
Mhm.
Well, and the burger provided a nice, stable foundation for everything to sit on because burgers don't get soggy. It didn't really break apart, so it it kept the sandwich nice and solid, which was appreciated.
Mhm.
Oh
was a
yeah,
good
oh
sandwich.
dude, it was so. That was a great way to end the trip. Was that burger?
Yeah. It was a great trip.
It was a
kind of
good trip.
in general. It was.
Looked like fun. Looked like everybody had fun. The kids had fun and everything. It was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. Like I've hung out with Nick separately, and I've hung out with Russ a lot separately, and it was like the first time the three of us were like in the same
Right.
spot at the same time, it was super fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was magical.
It was. That's the word I would use. Magical. 100%.
Yeah. I regretted it instantly, though.
Uh-huh.
Brett and I are walking around the Airbnb like old men. Like we needed some walkers to get around.
I
just
fell into that
bracing each other.
futon. I fell into this futon in the front room when we got back from the wedding, and just this is where I'm sleeping. Bam! I was out cold. I was like, hopefully the kids and my wife get to bed safely. I'm done. Dead.
Didn't even take off his tuxedo.
No, I just fully clothed. Bye.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, should we get into this topic?
Yeah, now that I've distracted you guys enough.
No, it's part it's part of the show, my man.
Yeah.
So the topic
You've
for
been
the
doing this
evening,
show for how long and you don't know?
Yeah.
This is all over the place. Come on.
this is part of how we work,
I
Russ.
usually I come out with better hope. Like every episode, I'm like, oh man, maybe we finally got it, and then I'm like, oh no.
No, we don't. We don't got shit. So, like we talked about at the top of the episode will be called this. It's no surprise, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be talking about the PlayStation Showcase, which, as of recording, happened yesterday, and I got to watch it. We did a little watch party in my Discord. A few people showed up. We watched it live. It was so much fun. But did you guys get to watch the whole thing?
I did.
Yeah.
I watched it all this morning. I didn't watch it live.
Yeah.
But I watched it this morning.
I watched the beginning of it live, but then I had the kid stuff. So after that, I had to kind of went to karate and all that other fun stuff. So I watched it at the end of the night. So, but it looks pretty good. So
yeah, without getting into specific games, like overall feelings of how the showcase went, because last year's was like a lot of big stuff. It was a crazy showcase. So how'd you guys feel about this one?
I mean, from my side, I thought I was a bit surprised with the just the number of games that were. Not that there weren't a lot; it was definitely a lot of games. But like you said, it was just like they really focused on the ones that were either exclusive or exclusive timed. You know, they didn't show a lot of the other things. Like you didn't see like Battlefield, for example, which is on every platform, and you didn't see a lot of the other stuff. Like you didn't see a Call of Duty or any of that kind of thing. I think they consolidated. They went with their strength. They said, okay, here's kind of why you want to have a PlayStation, whether it's now or at some point in the future, and here's how we're going to try and persuade you. I think that's the best way to kind of do it. And I mean, they always do the weird little spiel at the beginning. I thought it was kind of cool with the chess piece like scenario thing where they were doing in the beginning.
I was waiting for it to be either a perfume ad or a car commercial the whole time.
I was like, is this going to be a Final Fantasy tie-in? Because you never know. Final Fantasy can be anything. You never know. Every time it's like, let's just roll the dice and see what we're going to do. Sci-fi? Oh, it's sci-fi this time. It's like you never know, especially with the styles and the.
It felt very Watch Dogs. So I thought it was going to be like a preview for Watch Dogs because they did like they've had the live action stuff for PlayStation,
right?
But then they've also had it for Watch Dogs, and so the whole time I'm like, it's a new Watch Dogs game.
Yeah, because like the color palette was right, everyone's clothing, like it really could have been. But it was funny. I completely forgot that PlayStation always does live action trailers for themselves. Like, and so I'm like, it didn't click till almost the end, and I was like, oh, it's their showcase. I felt really dumb. Thank goodness no one else was there with me to. Oh wait, they were shit.
Yeah.
Still by the end of it, I was going, what's the story here?
Yes.
There's obviously something going on. But I don't
Who are these people? Where'd they
somebody got creative. There was a creative director there who wanted to show off some of their skills, and it was cool. Like neat and creative, and, had some nice imagery and stuff like that. But ultimately, you kept wanting. It's like, oh yeah, that was it. It was just the intro to the game show. Okay, cool. All right, move on. It was neat.
It was very much one of those things where you go, oh, okay, now I'm ready for some trailers.
Yeah.
What
that
you
was
got
good.
For me?
Yeah, kind of show my stuff. So, which is always a good thing. But yeah, so I think it wasn't as like crazy big as they've done in the past, but I think it was succinct. They got their mission across, and there might be a couple things that they didn't like show a lot. I didn't watch a lot of the pre-show. Like I know there's like 3 hours and counting, and I don't know how much of the new pre-show showed anything new there. If like they showed Horizon, but I wasn't sure if they showed a ton of new stuff that you haven't seen before, or is it it just that's the only part I didn't know. But it looked pretty cool.
They didn't do any new stuff. It was all trailers that have already come out. Like they did Elden Ring, they did Horizon Zero Dawn. No, not Horizon Forbidden West.
Forbidden West, yep.
which I did see some new like gameplay footage that I hadn't quite seen before.
Yeah.
But I think that was already part of some trailers that have been released. I just haven't been keeping up with that one as rapidly as some of the other stuff. Like it looks like there was like a parachute kind of thing, like a Breath of the Wild kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Kind of cool. And then I mean that was about it. They had trailers, and then they showed the same trailers again. So it would be like, here's some trailers that you've already seen. Now it's an hour and 58. And then at an hour and 53, they'd show, this long list of trailers again.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I like going on YouTube for those, as opposed to like Twitch or something, because then you could like rewind, like you can kind of go back and forth up and down the timeline, basically.
Oh yeah,
easily.
absolutely.
You can go to the VOD, but like it's just more. It's
so much easier.
Discord. It's so much easier just doing Discord. Just it's there. I mean, in YouTube, it's just so much easier just to kind of flow through it and stuff. And does what did you just say? Rewind real quick.
Yeah, what was that?
It's like, let me see that again. That looked really sweet. Let me try it again. Yeah, the only worst thing is like you miss it because it's like, oh, I went back 5 minutes, not 10 seconds. What the hell? Depending on the scale of the thing. But it was neat. I will say, in some ways, how a lot of the companies now are doing like these either quarterly or monthly like presentations where they say, like Nintendo, right? They'll do their Nintendo Direct, and they'll do, I don't know if it's monthly now or if it's like seems to be every few months or every quarter or something like that, and they'll showcase a series of games. I got more of a feel of length of this as more of that. It wasn't like an E3, or it wasn't a big EA Play sort of like 3 hour, even though it was still a long time period, but it wasn't the same kind of bombastic sort of thing. It just felt more like that. They just, like I said, succinct, got to the point, showed the things, and then the other thing
this is what we are. This is what we're about. Buy our stuff. Captured
on PlayStation 5. That was the big thing too, like so that there wasn't any confusion that this would, hey, is that a PS4 or is that PS or is this on
is this on PC?
Yeah. So at least they kind of said, all right, captured on PS5. That was also prevalent, which is always a good thing. They probably need to do that nowadays anyway. So because too many Cyberpunk and all that kind of stuff, where there's too many of those.
Or
like
Anthem.
Anthem.
That was just completely fabricated.
Yeah, right.
The big thing, and Russ, you mentioned it for a moment talking about a game, is like it's hard to keep up with everything all because there's trailers everywhere. There's so much shit happening all the time. And so like I fall behind on like knowing a lot of things going on. And so like just to have that spot to sit down, have the trailers pop in my face and go, oh, like there's probably stuff that everyone else knew about that I was like, oh, that's a thing, It's like, it was just great to sit there and just have trailer after trailer after trailer after trailer, and it was just, oh god, it was so cool. Yeah,
30 minutes. That was it.
Just trailers.
Done.
Just bam.
The thing I liked about it is I think there were some surprises. Like there were things that I have not heard any whispers about.
Same.
Nothing. And they were all, I mean, like you guys have said, it was exclusive products to PlayStation. So it was very much, this is why you should buy a PS5, even though you can't get one. You should definitely get one when you can.
Right.
Yeah. This is why it's really good for you to go out and do your thing. Yeah. Well, and we'll get into it a little bit here, but like right out of the gate, having that Knights of the Old Republic remake, like that set such a tone. Where it was like the music was, and I was like, it's been a long time since I've played that, but like it was one of those moments you're like, I swear I've heard that before. And then the mask comes in with a lightsaber, like you knew it was Star Wars immediately. And then once, like before the logo even popped up, like the lightsaber went over the mask, and I was like, no way! And like we were just freaking out in Discord. Like that's something that I like. I was listening to a podcast today where they cover gaming news every day, and they're like, yeah, we've all known about this for a long time. And I'm like, I had no idea. Like that blew my mind when that happened.
I had heard whispers and rumblings of a remake for KOTOR, and people wanting a remake.
Right.
I was slightly disappointed in that trailer. And the only reason is because I got really excited for a second because I was like, is this going to be a new IP where we get to play as a Sith instead of a Jedi?
Right.
Yes.
It's a rehash, which is not bad.
That sounds really awesome. And then there's a remake. And the story is excellent. KOTOR.
Incredible.
And honestly, I never made it all the way through. I started playing it. I could not get into the combat. Like, the combat just did not do it for me. It was slow. It was clunky. I mean, at the time, it was great. So I'm really. That's the only thing that makes me hesitant about it. I don't want them to do the same combat that they did in the original.
And I don't think
They're
like
gonna
so
do a
many.
remaster.
Yeah, a lot of people are doing remasters where it's like we look at the Final Fantasy remake.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I was going to say.
It's
I really
completely
hope,
different, but it's the same story.
I really hope. Well, they departed.
generally, yeah.
Yeah, but it's along
yeah.
the same line. Yeah.
I hope they
not like
update.
earth shattering. Yeah.
I hope they update the combat. They make it more of like a person kind of thing. Like there's lots that they can do. I mean, even if they've just borrowed from the Final Fantasy system, that'd be fine. Where you can switch in between because it's a party game, right?
Yeah.
You've got a party.
Yeah.
The way Final Fantasy VII did it, they actually did it really well, in my opinion. Where
absolutely.
You still want to buff up your party members as you go because it's actually really beneficial to switch around and have them do different things and set up different combos and things like that. I hope that they're going to do that. I don't know. I like. It was one that I was like, okay, cool, but that was not the one I was most excited about.
Yeah, no, for sure. But like, as I'm a huge BioWare fanboy, and like, it's great that you have a remake happening from a company that has stayed kind of in that same lane, but they've improved it so much over the years that they understand what they need. Like Russ, what you're saying, where they need to update combat and stuff. Like they've done those improvements in all their games they make now.
I mean, if the Inquisition, even
Dragon
the
Age
later Mass
Inquisition.
Effects, the first Mass Effect a little rough, but like this, even that was at the time was fine. But like you look at 2 and 3, right, and they've improved in there, and then you look at Inquisition, which is probably like the height of the best for that genre.
Oh yeah,
really,
Inquisition would probably be the closest we'd probably get to a KOTOR,
and that probably has that feel. Because that's the groundwork for it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's like the dialogue tree and the story is the coder is where they shine, and then they kind of improve the action elements earlier. So I don't want them to change necessarily to something completely different. I'd rather have them do something where, and you figure what engine they're going to use. They're probably going to use one of the engines, and I'm not familiar with which ones those use. If they use Unreal or if they use a custom ones, I forget.
I will look up.
I was actually trying to, and I couldn't quite find. So I would imagine they're using whatever they had in, hopefully it's not
Frostbite. They're using Frostbite for Inquisition. I doubt that's what they're going to use. I think they're moving from Frostbite for everything else.
Yeah. Well, EA kind of forced that through, but like the original Inquisition and stuff,
Andromeda.
Frostbite.
I think Andromeda was the first one not to use Frostbite because they were like, finally, we don't have to use that.
Yeah, so that's hopeful that they don't have to kind of do that. But if they can use those terms where you could pause it and have real time and pause it and that kind of stuff, I think that you'll satisfy both parties. The groups that want to do the new thing, they never played it, and I think it'd be cool. Like I do agree to some degree with Russell's that there was a little bit of an anti, at the end of it, it was like, oh, okay, it's a remake. Well, that's cool. I like the remake, but I was kind of hoping for new IP. But then the fact that it was coders, like, okay, I'm good with that. It's not like something that's more recent. Like I was worried that it was going to be like another Battlefront, or what's the other one that was out before. It was the newest one was the Jedi, the Last Jedi stuff, but I was worried it was going to be one of those action games. Yeah, the Fallen Order. I thought it was going to be a second one of those, which would have been cool. Like I was expecting that, and then all of a sudden it was like KOTOR. Oh, okay, well that's kind of cool. I was kind of looking forward to a Jedi, the second one of that, but KOTOR worked too because it's been so long. Like I can't even remember that. I haven't even seen that in a while. I ran on original PCs and stuff, so.
I would be really excited to play it as long as they update the combat system. And
they have to. There's no way you're going to remake a game that old and not redo the combat system,
Yeah.
I mean, but honestly, they do that all the time too, though. I mean, they've moved away from it somewhat in recent years. We've gotten some remasters where they've actually been like, hey, we love this, but we've updated a lot of the clunkiness.
Yeah.
Mass Effect is a great example.
That's the thing right now. Yeah. They're realizing there's money in doing that.
And I think more people are willing to buy if you're not just going, hey, we're going to slap an HD skin over this and then throw it out to you.
Enhance the textures and boom, call it a day. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I just looked it up. It will be Unreal Engine 5.
Good.
So, that'll be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it is funny because they shut down there was a fan-made stuff that was used in Unreal 4, I think, at one point. There was like a fanboy thing. That they were creating a KOTOR, redoing KOTOR, and then they eventually got locked down and stopped. doing it. They're like, they got a cease and desist after a certain amount of time. They put a lot of time into it too, apparently. And then all of a sudden they got that. So like, that's where the whole rumors started to come in. Like, okay,
gotcha.
they
That makes
care
sense.
now, so they probably are doing something with it because they're not just going to lock down just to lock down. I mean, yeah, they could. Disney owning Lucas,
They
all
usually
that
don't.
kind of stuff. They
Yeah.
don't tend to care that much if they don't think they got any money or skin in the game. It's not like they're selling Coder today either. You're not cutting into that, So it's like, but as soon as that cease and desist came through and that fan group that had to shut down that's like, okay, that there's probably something coming there. And then, like you said, I haven't followed that too much, but I heard rumors of it, but didn't know exactly. I did have to look it up though, I will admit. So, because the one thing that I'll bring is, we joked about the Xbox stuff and all that. I tend to be more nowadays. I go in waves. So for a while it was Xbox 360, then I was PS4, and then I became more of the Xbox now again. So I was like, is it going to be on PC as well? So I was like, yep, it's going to be PC. So it's PS5 exclusive console and PC launch same day. Xbox to come later, basically.
I feel like that's most games nowadays, even if they're exclusive to a console, are releasing on the PC.
Yeah, well, they don't perceive sometimes the PC as much of it's a competitor, of course, but it's not.
But not
it's,
nearly
as
as
much.
much,
The other
no.
guy getting it, what I mean? It's like,
Exactly.
especially Sony's like, we're not giving it to Xbox, we're not going to get Microsoft to do it, even though PC.
KOTOR is what, BioWare or
BioWare,
Bethesda?
yeah.
BioWare, yeah.
And BioWare's owned by Microsoft now.
Not BioWare, no. There's EA. EA owns BioWare.
Did they buy Bethesda? I thought Microsoft
They bought Bethesda.
Microsoft owns Bethesda,
Yeah.
ZeniMax actually, and Bethesda. Yep. So ZeniMax and Bethesda are all Microsoft now, which is interesting because there's a few of them that I'll point out later that are actually PS5 exclusive right now, but they are owned by Microsoft, so they adhere to the contract. But there's a couple of those games that we'll talk about that actually will probably be more exclusive later down the road. But they kept it, hey, we made the agreement, we're keeping it, like they said, Bethesda's not going to just break agreements and do all that kind of stuff because legal, obviously, and just other reasons. So, but yeah, it's
them, it makes a lot more sense. Honestly, it makes a lot more sense because most people have gone PlayStation at this time. Either, or at least for most people have the PlayStation or their PC.
Yeah.
And Microsoft, as far as like the Xbox sales, they were really far behind as far as like most people could get an Xbox. What's the new one? Xbox
Series.
You
still can't get an X. You can't still get an X. You can get an S a little easier, but I got one. But the X is still very difficult to get. Like even now, you can't really find it in a store. You have to get one of those windows of opportunity that pop up. So they don't care. See, that's the thing. Sony's playing a different game. Sony's playing console war. Microsoft's not. Microsoft's like, I don't care. I just want the system. We want the subscriptions. That's all we care about.
Yeah.
Like we don't care if you got a console.
And they're like, I think they're because Microsoft. I mean, they really have the PC market down.
that Xbox Game Pass that we talked about earlier, man. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, even from a larger perspective, I mean, Microsoft systems are used. I mean, I don't know of anybody who does a gaming PC that's not on a Microsoft system. Be Linux,
right?
But I mean, other than that, it's Microsoft or Linux. It's not like people are using something else. So,
right,
they're going more the software route of Bethesda, and then they get a cut of the action from PlayStation too. I mean, and why would they?
They're making the money.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Money's made.
Exclusive. Why would they push those exclusives towards the Xbox? Because then they're cutting out a market share that they're getting from PlayStation. Because they're getting a market share from PlayStation from selling the games. So either way, if people are buying PlayStations and playing PlayStations, they win too.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for them to go exclusive with that content.
We have a lot of games to get through, so I'm going to push us forward. That's my job. So this next thing that popped up, guys, I know we're all very excited for this. We didn't get almost no information. Slight trailer. I'll get to that one, but this next one on my list at least. We're looking at a bar, right?
Oh
yeah. There's a bar fight.
You jump into that one. Okay.
There's these hairy knuckles on the bar. This guy walks in, and the second I saw the hairy hand, I was like, "Is this Wolverine?" And then the guy wants to fight, and I'm like, "Here it comes any second." Whoom! Claws come out. End to end trailer. The Wolverine title thing pops up. Like a an adventure game dedicated to Wolverine. How are you guys feeling about that?
It's Insomniac too, by the way. Confirmed.
Yeah. Who made the Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank, Sunset Overdrive, Fuse, like they have a lot of great adventure titles under their belt.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, I'm excited about that. My only thing is, we saw that cutscene, so that game to me is probably going to be 2023 or 24. And the only reason I say
that's a long way.
Is a long time away. So that's the other thing I kind of keep evaluating. Is like, okay, PlayStation 5 is definitely being enticing now, but like, do I need to get one now, or do I need to get one in 1 to 2 years? That's how my brain works. Like, because I already put out for the PC and next generation X. So like, why should I get it? Is my constant thing with this whole show. It's like, yeah, that looks really awesome. I can get it in a year. That's fine. I'm cool. I'm still good. Look
plenty
at
of time.
Stuff. So yeah. But Wolverine looks awesome. Like, and if Insomniac's doing it, like they've proven themselves with Spider-Man. Like, and that's one of those games I still have to get around to because I just haven't loaded up my PS4 in forever, and I just don't want. And when I see it's going to be in 60 frames, I'm gonna wait till I can play that in 60 frames. I just, and I'm patient that way. And Miles looked great, and then this new one looks, we get to that too, but the new one looks amazing. That with Venom, like, Spider-Man 2, boom, that's awesome looking. A little more information on that, but they said that's 2023 for that game. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Exactly.
Insomniac doesn't run many games. They got the what was the Clank, Ratchet and Clank, right? And that was amazing looking game. That looked like it's an award winner.
That's had some insane reviews for it.
It looks amazing. So, but they can't do that many games. They're still a small studio. So, like, if they did that and Spider-Man 2 Miles, they probably have two teams doing these things, then the Wolverine's going to come after Spider-Man 2 is my theory.
And that's the thing is, like you mentioned, there was the 2023 date that popped up for the Spider-Man one, but there was no, like, if you don't have a year at all on your trailer, like, that's a long ways away. But it's super exciting to see Insomniac
it's exciting to see that they're doing
dedicated to Wolverine. He's a character that like hasn't gotten a lot of love in a long time.
Mm-hmm. And that may not necessarily be true either, because Ragnarok didn't have a date on it. We got a trailer for that, and they're usually pretty quick about putting those out. Insomniac has made a lot of money lately, so they're still a small studio. They could have expanded too. I mean, we don't really have any information on what the Insomniac is doing, but I think that you're right. I think it's probably not going to be 2022. It's definitely not going to be this year, and I would assume that since they already have it,
like they're just showing you a teaser. It's not even a trailer. It's a teaser, right? It's like and then title screen, boom. So you know what that happens there. It's like when they did Elder Scrolls last year, right? Like when Bethesda's like Elder Scrolls, and you see like a panning valley or something like that. Elder Scrolls, like that game's like 5 years away. It's like
so far away.
They haven't even gotten to that point,
I don't foresee it coming out anytime soon. I am excited to see what they're going to do with it. Insomniac has a tendency, their games have been open world, at least in some part. Wolverine to me doesn't, mostly because he doesn't speak to me of like a large open world, because he doesn't have the mobility that like Spider-Man does. You can cover Manhattan in a couple of minutes, swinging around. It's fun movement. Yeah. Whereas Wolverine, first of all, where's it going to take place? I'm hoping it takes place, like, I at least hope there's some rural. Areas, not like a big city, because Wolverine to me is like, the feral beast. Like, I just want to see Wolverine running through some woods at some point, just like running up and just like doing that, like Old Man Logan, jumps out and comes in and pierces the guy, and then. But Insomniac is also really good with movement.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, very smooth movement.
Backgrounds,
and something you mentioned real quick is like. And they don't. The cool thing with Insomniac games is they've shown they can do an open world with Spider-Man, but Ratchet and Clank, that's not really an open world game. Like, that's more of like the, level.
But even then, their levels were still like, while it was
exactly,
linear,
and that's what I'm like. I'm not worried about Wolverine. Like you said, there's no way it's going to be an open world game, but like, and you don't have to worry about that with Insomniac games, because they've proved that they can do either of those things. You know what I mean? Really well.
Yeah, and you figure it's gonna be action combo too. Like, I think of Arkham. like in some ways with Wolverine, similar
Yeah.
action type. Like I feel like that's what it's going to be. Kind of like Spider-Man stuff that I've heard. The only complaints I've heard about Spider-Man is like the fact that the way the combat works is a little bit can be a lot more dodgy than, let's say, dodging. A lot more dodging needed as opposed to like Batman, where you're doing like all the crazy combos and things like that. I think Wolverine, when I thought about it, it's probably like if you do like an Arkham type game where you do have like even a small city, like even Arkham, this before they got really large, like Arkham Asylum was a good one because it was contained. Then they went to city, right, and then they went to the third. But the second one was huge, but it was still a city. It wasn't like you're traversing over several continents or something like that. So if they do more of the forest area, maybe they'll do more of like a Badlands or other sort of thing, perhaps.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Well, and that's a long ways away. So let's go ahead and move forward here. So this, and you mentioned we are.
One other thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
One other thing. It does seem like we're getting a lot of Marvel titles.
Oh yeah,
I'm excited about because we've got Wolverine, we've got the Guardians of the Galaxy,
Guardians of the Galaxy,
Spider-Man 2. All of these are not movie tie-in games.
Yeah,
yeah.
There's also the what is that other?
Yeah,
it's like XCOM, but it's Marvel. That game coming out as well.
Oh, the card game that
No, not the card game. No, XCOM's that one where you like, it's like there's the field of battle. There's all the turn-based
system though. It's a card-based system for this game.
But it's not like a card game. Yeah.
So it has like, I think they're gearing it towards like loot boxes where you accumulate different characters and things like that, and they have different abilities based on these cards.
Ton of Marvel games coming out. It's super cool.
That aren't movie tie-ins. That
aren't movie tie-ins, right? And it's not always. Yeah.
It seems like they're licensing these out to build a Marvel video game universe.
And that's something we talked about, I think, on the last episode, which is over a month ago now. But but the cool thing with the Spider-Man 2 trailer, which we already, like you mentioned that already, but like I had recently heard, like seen the announcement that Spider-Man was coming to the Avengers game that came out. And so I assumed that was just like the official announcement for Spider-Man coming to that game. It's like, oh, okay, I know exactly what this is. And then very quickly I went, oh shit, I did not expect this.
I did not know what it was. I was surprised. I was like, because it looks, the Spider-Man, the first one, is a very this trailer felt very dark, very gritty, very claustrophobic. Whereas the other one, it was very bright, very fun. It was very much in the vein of like, comic book Spider-Man, kind of campy. This one felt a little darker, which I'm excited about.
You got Venom. You're introducing Venom as whether he's a playable character or if he's at least maybe he may not be the primary antagonist. Who knows?
Yeah, but
like, he may just be one of those.
That sets a tone.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the initial voice had that accent. That look.
Yeah, there's another person in that alleyway, and then Venom. Yeah.
I'm wondering who that voice is because I've heard Kraven the Hunter, which is
I've heard that. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
But there was also a villain that was recently featured in the comic book series that I think it's going to focus on because it's Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Venom, and the character was like this immortal being that feasts on totems of like people who personify animals. Spider-Man, Rhino, Scorpion, Venom, because these are all personifications of spiders, could be the introduction of this kind of, because it would be a great thing to do for them because they usually do. They like to take these kind of side characters. I mean, what was his name? Negative Man. He's not like a commonly talked about Spider-Man villain. But he was a big part of that game, even though Doc Ock ended up being a big part of it too, and kind of the instigation and stuff like that. So it would be I think it would be a good move for them because they can take this character that's only featured a couple of times in the comic books that not a lot of people have a lot of knowledge of and be able to build something bigger off of it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So very excited for that. That's like you mentioned earlier, that's 20. We still got a couple years till that hits us. Let's jump over here to, I know Russell mentioned it just a second ago, but Project Eve made another appearance. I totally forgot this existed until the trailer hit.
For a while we were like, oh, is this going to be killed? Because there was even a talk like, did this just die off? Because they weren't talking about it for years.
Yeah,
and then
is
all
it
of a
just
sudden, you're
gone?
like, because then I looked at it, I was like, oh, is this a Parasite Eve? Is this a Bayonetta type? Is like, what is
Yeah.
what is this? And it looked great. I mean, it's one of those games that like I think I appreciate. Whether I play it or not, we'll see, because I just haven't been like playing those kind of games recently. Even though I do like them and I like to see them out because they're cool games, but like just not typically my niche right now. But like it looked amazing. Like it looked great, and the action looks amazing speed wise.
Yeah,
and
it was
backgrounds and.
It was interesting, like when the first half of the trailer, I was like, okay, it's just one of those like every generation we have a couple like they're like tech demo games that come out that's just to show off like what you can do. I was like, all right, it's just one of those. And as the trailer kept going, I was like, all right, this looks like it could be a little more than that. But my general feel is more like it's a tech demo game to show off what the PS5 can do.
I think a lot of it.
I might try it or watch it, but it's not on the top of my list. But it looks great.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah, I wrote down like looks great. Probably won't play it.
Yeah.
Maybe GameFly or whatever at the time. Something like that. Perhaps.
What are your thoughts there, Russ?
It piqued my interest. Like I was with you guys. Like as it started, I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
But as it went forward and I saw some of the gameplay, I'm like, no, I'm interested in it. I mean, like you guys, I don't know. It's probably not going to be a game I'm going to buy the day it comes out.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll probably be one that I'm like, I don't have a game. This one looked interesting. Might as well give it a shot. That kind of thing. Because it was very, like, I don't know, but like it piqued my interest. Like I'm like, what's going on with this? Like there were some cool visuals. The chainsaw heads, weird, but it reminds me of like a Devil May Cry game. Like where it's like it's very bombastic, very cool, and I enjoy playing the Devil May Cry games. Occasion, they're not my favorite games, but I enjoy playing them. They're cool, they're fun while I play them, and I have a feeling that this is going to be similar. But it looked interesting. Like it definitely, as far as when it started, I was like, whatever. I'm ready for the next trailer already. Yeah. By the end of it, I was like, I give it a shot.
Yeah. All right. Probably the biggest announcement that happened at the showcase, right? That I'm sure everyone was just, I jumped up and down, screaming my head off. Ladies and gentlemen,
totally forgot about Alan
GTA 5 coming to PS5.
No,
I think I laugh. Yeah,
I laughed so hard.
I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it's not a shocker. I mean, GTA is not a shocker, but I mean, there are a lot of people that are very interested.
Oh yeah,
GTA 5. I'm thinking Gran Turismo
too, but like it's not
GTA. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto. No, Gran Turismo 7 looked
totally got
incredible, and we all agreed. I wish Gran Turismo would come to PC because, like, God, those are such beautiful looking games. But yeah,
they're great. Yeah, I'll get to that. Like they're great, but like Forza's so much better. I'm sorry. I used to be a Gran Turismo guy. Forza blows them away. Like just better gameplay and better graphics.
But yeah,
so, like that's the only I disagree. But yeah, Grand Theft Auto. It's like okay, it's cool, like, right. Neat.
Did that need to be a trailer? And like I get the reason it was there because they're going to make a shit ton of money off that. So it makes sense for it to be in the showcase. That's easy money. But at the same time, you're like, all right, like we all know that's happening.
I think they also did on the Xbox one, didn't they? If I remember Microsoft's one, I think they did the same thing. It was like the same. I don't remember if it was the same trailer. It might have just been just the same thing. It was like
because they're going to make a shit ton of money off of it, so they're throwing it out there. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy to me how many remakes were in.
We've watched trailers for Grand Theft Auto 5 through 3 generations of consoles.
Yeah.
That to me is ridiculous.
It's insane.
Why? Like, surprise everybody and do a remake of Red Dead.
Oh yeah, the first one. Yeah.
Awesome game, but that didn't make as much money. That's the thing. It's a money game, unfortunately, with the production houses. That's the thing.
But why I don't like you have remade this game like 4 times. I'm tired of hearing about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But they make a shit ton of money, so they just keep doing it. Just like Skyrim, they keep making a shit ton of money.
Hey guys, did you know they're going to remake Skyrim? They're going to do another enhancement. And guess which schmuck is probably going to end up getting it again?
10th anniversary edition.
Me too.
That's it's really good. Relaunched 10 times.
Quick take. Bought the Xbox Series S, right? Bought it in wintertime. What was one of the first games I actually did launch once they updated it?
Skyrim.
Yep.
Oh
Got my
yeah.
Series S, playing Skyrim. What the hell am I doing?
So real quick, you did make the joke, but yeah, what are you guys feeling that the Alan Wake remaster? Are you guys Alan Wake guys?
I loved it on the Xbox 360.
Yeah. It looks
I've
Like, it
I've
looks
never
great.
played
Great game.
it.
If you haven't played it, if you've never
Yeah.
played it and you have a Sony and you don't play it on a PC, it's an awesome game. I would really recommend getting it. But it's been free on Epic Store on PC. It's been really cheap on Xbox itself. Not Xbox, I'm sorry, Microsoft, store. It's a very cheap game. It was free for a while as well. It was even, I think, a gold game, so you got it free then too. So if you haven't gotten that game for free on either a PC or Xbox, and all you have is a Sony, cool. But like, it's not a. It's. I was like, I actually laughed. I was like, maybe it was Alan Wake 2 or something. No, it was just a remake of the same game, which is an amazing game. Like, don't get me wrong, it's awesome, but like, there's only so much they're gonna update. That's not gonna be next gen. It's not I mean, it's 3 gens back, honestly. So
Yeah.
But
Well,
but if
and
you're a Sony
usually-
person and you haven't played it, I would fully recommend it. It's one of my favorite story driven games. It's great, and it's. I'm not a big like shock, like scare the crap out of me type game anymore. Just not into that anymore. That one has a little bit of that, but not so much that it's like insanely crazy, like a Silent Hill or a Resident Evil or even the other ones that are even more intense, right? So, but it's very well driven, and I like the way they did. If you ever played it, basically they do like last time on Alan Wake, they do chapters. So like when you go to the next chapters, like last time on, and they do the whole little like the the important pieces, like you're watching an old show or something. So it's really cool. It's a great game, but I was like, I don't know why they even included that, because that was probably any Xbox PC person is probably laughing their ass off at that one. It's like, I got it free on Epic. Why would I care about it's on Sony? And it looks probably very similar. You know what I mean? So
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's my hot take on that one.
I want to play it just because it exists in the same universe as the Control universe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I enjoyed Control. Like, it's actually, I still haven't finished it. But to be honest, it's actually one of my favorite games. It kind of came out of left field, and it's a wholly unique IP. It's a really interesting idea. And so I want to go back and play Alan Wake because they're supposed to take place in the same universe.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll probably get it on the PC instead of getting it on
Yeah.
the Sony. Why would I pay $50 or $60 or 70? To go back and play something that I can easily get on the PC or something like that.
Yeah. For super cheap or free. Yeah.
Yeah, like
And
if
then,
it doesn't come up free again, it's cheap. So it's a great game. I would actually recommend it because it is very story driven. It's very interesting.
Oh, it's a
not a lot of
game-
time. I think
it's a
Gigi
game
was
that a
playing
lot
it
of
for
people
one time
still
on stream
talk about.
not long
Yeah.
ago. And she was enjoying it. But it's a little clunky at times. So it does still have, unless they redid it, which they didn't. They haven't redone it. It's still a little clunky, but it's pretty good. Like it's got a good pace to it. So I would recommend it.
Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot what I was going to say.
Not $70 game though.
No, for sure. Well, let's get I think the last like remaster out of the way real quick. Is the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection was announced, and thank you. And my wife just like army crawled on the floor to give me a water bottle. Yeah,
Hydrate.
but no, this is the last Uncharted game, and then the side game. What was that? A Thieves End and Lost Legacy coming to
Lost
PS5
Legacy.
remastered. Like that one, I was excited for because I didn't play either of those two. I've played all the other Uncharted games, but not those two.
Yeah.
Sin was
So
really
like
good. I don't know about the Lost Legacy.
that's cool. Yeah, I'm excited for that one. That's one of the ones that actually made me go, oh, maybe I want to get a PS5.
You know what? As it's worth it.
Yeah,
In my opinion, I've had one since November. I got super, super lucky and got one like a week after it came out. It still and did blow my socks away. The fact that I can have 5 minutes to play a game and actually play for 5 minutes,
Oh yeah.
it's still amazing to me. I mean, 30 seconds, I'm in a game.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
Press
And
a button, you're there.
and It's amazing. Love that. And, the system is solid. It does look
I think you want to showcase. So you buy a system like that. Like I was like, what did I do when I bought the series? Right? Yes, I was like, well, what's the first thing I could try? Because it is. You're right. You're not. Even PC. Like my PC goes on pretty quickly, but you're still waiting for like other things to be loading and stuff. Whereas I throw the Xbox, Load a game, boom, I'm in. Like, oh, I'm continuing the game. Okay, cool, this is great. It's like you're right where you were left off. So it's same thing with Sony as well. So like both of the next gens, that you get spoiled by that, and that's why it's like I even unplugged my PS4. It's like I don't think I can go back to the loading screens anymore, just because it's you get spoiled, and it sucks.
Oh, yeah.
But you get spoiled. So, but
Still,
that one looks good. I mean, that's the one you want to showcase and play. And I haven't played those last few either. So, and one of the reasons I got a PS3 because I resisted the PS3 for a while. I got PS2 and a PS4 pretty quick, but the PS3 I held off on price wise and everything. But it was like God of War eventually and Uncharted. Like those are the two games that typically get me to get a PlayStation at that
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
So I be a generation hopper basically. So for whatever reason.
Well,
That was
this next one, I'm really interested to hear Russ's thoughts because I have no idea if this is
I know which one
in
is.
your wheelhouse, but like D&D inside Borderlands, like Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I was
Thought of you guys as soon as I saw that when she's like,
Yeah.
it's rather
we're gonna play, and like Tiny Tina is one of my favorite. Like she is so hilarious and awesome. So I was gonna try her game, period, but I had no idea what the premise was. So the fact that it's literally
I had no
her
idea either.
as a DM leading you through a campaign, a D&D campaign, but you have guns. I'm like, this is so
you have guns
fucking
too.
cool.
You have guns.
Yeah,
got
but you have
lots of
guns.
Maybe a few. No,
Because
lots
why
of
the
guns.
fuck not? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
God, yeah. So that's one that
Yeah,
was already on my list, and now is even higher on my list. But I want to know, Russ, your thoughts with this.
So at first, because I'm not big into first person shooting, not big into first person perspectives in general. Usually because they give you lots of stuff to make your character look cool, and then you never get to see them. And I'm like, I want to see what my character looks like. I want to make somebody that looks cool that I can see. I just tend to be drawn towards third person perspective. But I'd heard really good things about Borderlands 2, the DLC. I think it was Borderlands 2 that they had the DLC where they did this
good.
Tiny
And
Tina
Tina's was
adventure.
great.
I see it all the time on best list, and at first it was kind of like Project Eve, except more along the lines of I want to get this and play it. As I was watching the trailer, I'm like, oh, okay, oh cool. I mean, this looks interesting, but as it got in, like you don't really see a lot of gameplay, but you do see a couple of things where they're like casting spells or doing things, and I'm like, get into this. Like because I'm just not. I like sword and board stuff.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But the guns and then also the spells and Borderlands has always had kind of that fantasy element to it.
Yeah.
It's a looter shooter where you go and you collect loot and you kill things, and it seems like it would fit very well in kind of the D&D aspect, because the big thing in D&D is getting loot and getting more powerful and then going and tackling these crazy things. Plus, it has that sense of humor that looks really intriguing to me.
Oh, yes.
So,
Dude, Borderlands
is,
humor is next level.
I'm waiting to see more on it. It's one of those that I'm interested in,
Okay.
but I don't want to be interested in it. You know what I mean? Like I'm
yeah. You're like,
like-
upset that it's intrigued. Yeah. That you're intrigued by it. Yeah.
It's one that I'll probably get and play and then really enjoy it and be like, yeah, it was actually a really great game. You know.
Hell yeah. So another trailer that came out, we're going to get through some smaller announcements here, but so the Rainbow Six Extraction, which you already knew was coming out, it was cool to see more
actually really
gameplay of
excited
that.
for that one.
Yeah, it was really cool to see more gameplay for that. It was something like on paper, I was like, this sounds interesting, but I hadn't really seen anything. So like actually watch it. I was like, all right, yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a game I'm going to play for a long time, but like I could see this being one of those, like you jump in for like a month, and just really grind the hell out of it and have great memories from it. And I'm all down for a game like that. It looks like a ton of fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely does. I mean, sometimes these conferences are great for whether it's for the console itself or just knowing with more information about the game, right? Like this one and Guardians were the two. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, when I saw it at the Microsoft one, I was like, this looks awesome. I don't care. I'm actually good that it's not tied in with the movie. Like, even though I like the
it's
movies,
even better that
the
way.
fact
Yeah.
that it's alternate, and that they showed even more of it with this. So this, seeing more gameplay with this to me is a PC game for me. Like I wouldn't play this on a PS, maybe an Xbox, but I wouldn't play it on a Sony. I just don't tend to with that. Just personal preference, but it would be neat to be crossplay. Like if it had crossplay, that'd be kind of cool. I don't know if they said anything about that. They don't tend to with Rainbow Six games, but it'd be nice. But no, it was awesome. Like I liked looking at it and stuff. But to me, it's one of those fleshing out the details of a game I know about that I'm intrigued about. May play, may try, but not like, oh, this was amazing kind of thing. It looks good. Like it does look solid to me. I agree with you. It's like same thing. It's like I might dip a little bit in there, but Rainbow Six games, me, are like, I've had a history there and they're good, but I kind of haven't been playing those type of games as much recently. But this one maybe has a different take on it. We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Russ?
Mm-hmm. I am actually really kind of excited about this one because it's a combo of Rainbow Six Siege and Call of Duty Zombies.
Yeah, I got that. Like, even some of the sound effects was like right there. Yeah.
And that idea sounds like, because Rainbow Six Siege, I never actually played it, but I was always like really interested in it. I really wanted a single player experience as well, because at the time I didn't have a lot of people to play with. Now it's a much different experience. Like this is one that I could see, me and Brett and Clearnite and whoever jumping in and playing as a group and having a ton of fun.
Right.
And like you said, it'll probably be one that we play really heavily for a month or two, and then it'll be like every once in a while we'll be like, hey, remember that game that we played? We should play that.
Yeah, or if like there's an update or something. But the thing is, it's not going to be. I really doubt it's going to be one of those where like we play it for a week and we're like, all right, cool, we tried it. Like like a game lasting a month for us. That's a good game,
Yeah, true.
But yeah, so that should come out, and that's another thing. It was cool to see the trailer because that's been delayed
January
twice. It's been delayed
Yeah,
twice and renamed a couple times already. So it was like it's one of those you're like, oh god, is this game actually going to happen? So seeing it in the showcase was like, all right, good. Whew, it is a thing,
Yeah,
the concept is really
January,
cool.
So that sounds good. Like it's close enough.
Concept is really cool, and I like the concept.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm excited for it.
A game that really, it was an interesting trailer. I'm wondering what you guys. I'm not going to have a lot to talk about on this one, but that Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah,
where it was like the faceless, really scrawny dudes walking around and like some magic spell shit going. Like it looked pretty, but I was like, no, I'm probably not going to try it.
I'm pretty sure this is from manga. I think this is a manga series, isn't it? That one. It sounds like it to me, and back in my mind, I was like, it sounded like it was based on it.
I feel like I've seen an anime or something.
Something like that, yeah, something like that. So it looked great, but it's like, yeah, that looks great. It might be a showpiece, but honestly, actually, one thing I will say with that game, the backgrounds looked amazing, like next gen level, but the first person portions of it looked kind of lame to me. I don't know, it didn't look like high fidelity, like the game fighting and I was like, I made a note. It's like, yeah, the graphics in the background look amazing, like all those movement, but like what you're really looking at on day to day looks like last gen. It looked not even like last gen PC. Like it didn't look good. It didn't have like good textures for the fight attacks, the damage, all that kind of stuff. So like it might be one of those things that looks pretty on paper, and then you get to and it's like, okay. So, and again, it doesn't have to be graphics. Isn't all it for every game. But yeah, that was one. I was like, it looked okay, but I was like, meh.
Yeah, I did dig. Like it was a very different idea. Like it was something that I was like, oh, I haven't really seen this. So which I always appreciate. But yeah, like the gameplay didn't look up my alley.
Yeah. And I'm sure, in my mind, I was like, there's probably a group of people or whatever that's excited about this.
Oh,
It just felt like it was something that was there before. And I don't remember. It sounded familiar to me. So there's probably a million people like listening. It's like, no, it's because of this, you idiot. Don't you know this? I don't know. It's like, not my thing these days.
And then go ahead, Russ.
Oh, and funny thing on this one, sorry, last note on this, ZeniMax owns this company's distributor, so this would be a game that would also be Microsoft exclusive in the future potentially, but they still releasing it on Sony right now because it's going to be one of those. ZeniMax actually is one of the owners of this one. I thought it was kind of interesting. So it's like they have 1 year exclusive for this one. So
who actually
it's exclusive, but
Tango GameWorks is making it, and it's being published by Bethesda. So.
So there's like that chain that's there, basically. That eventually probably will be a Microsoft type thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And whether they pick it or not, who knows? That's not really doesn't feel like a Microsoft type game, but who knows?
Yeah. And then we saw, and you mentioned it for a second. I know I'm excited. I talked about it, I think, on a previous episode too. But having some more gameplay for Guardians of the Galaxy, I loved the trailer. That's a game I'm
I love the dialogue. The dialogue is just killing me.
Oh yeah, and it's interesting. There's a couple games. Like Square Enix is working on a lot of stuff at the same time. It's like that's a big team, multiple teams over there. But like, some big Square Enix shit this time around. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy looks awesome. Russ, I'm not sure how you're feeling about it. I think I know. I think we've talked about this before. But
yeah, we have. We talked about it a while ago. Sorry.
I hear you.
Got clogged up all of a sudden. I'm really excited about this one. One, it's not a movie tie-in.
Yep.
Which usually is an indication that they're going their own way. But it also looks like they've captured the essence of what we loved in Guardians of the Galaxy, the banter, the kind of infighting family dynamic that goes on between them, where they don't always get along and they don't always make the right decision.
Somehow things work out, but it doesn't look pretty along the way. Yeah.
Right. Like I saw a gameplay trailer also where there's like different choices and different people will like or dislike your choices that you're making as you're going along. They're not all, and they're also not splitting the focus. They are focusing very specifically on Star-Lord. He's the only person that you control during the course of the game, which is also a good sign because it means that they're not trying to split their focus. It seems to me like it's going to be a very good game. We saw a little bit of gameplay of like some combat sequences that looked really exciting and really fun. This Church of the Whole or Church of the Universe, like
Church of the Light, or so.
Yeah,
seems like
something like that. Yeah.
The probability of winning against the Church of the Light is 0.
It's like 0.
Is that bad?
0.3%.
0.3%. Is that bad? That sounds bad. Yeah. Fuck. Dude,
and then you hear like, I don't know if you guys heard it, but the computer comes back and goes, "Yes, that is very bad."
Yeah.
I rewound that one a couple times to hear the
great trailer.
I was laughing and I missed the other dialogue. So Drax even had a couple little points here and there, and even Rocket a couple times. So I had to rewind that one a few times.
And that's the sign of a good trailer. One that you want to go back and you want to rewatch to catch all the little things that are happening in it. Because it is, to me, it's a very exciting game, and I can't wait to play it.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's gonna be a special game. I'm saying it now. This is gonna be one of those experiences where you just hold on. Like, that was such a good story, and like the elements, and like it's gonna emotionally get you, like Guardians can get you. Like, it's gonna be a great story narrative, and I can't wait to play through it.
Yeah.
Well, and
it's soon too. It's coming up. It's
next month. Yeah, on the 26th, I think. 26th,
really?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was that soon.
It's like
that makes
a little over a month away. Yeah. I need to get a PS5 in a month.
But it's interesting. We've seen this split where Insomniac has gotten some of the Marvel characters, and then Square Enix has been handling a lot of the Marvel characters. Square Enix has been handling a lot of the team-based Avengers, which but then Guardians of the Galaxy and then Insomniac has been more focused on the single player experience. I'm totally fine with that, and I'm excited to see it because Square Enix really does. They do well with that team-based, group-based gaming mechanics, and Insomniac does great at the single-player action adventure stuff. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, Marvel's being really smart because, like, you know, the Star Wars thing went out where it was just one company. Like, I think it was just EA, right? But like one company was making Star Wars game. That was the thing. And then it was like a lot of really bad games in a row. And I'm glad to see Marvel like looked at that and went, all right, we'll hand the IP to a lot of different studios that can do their own variation of it. They're not just like, this is the kind of game we're going to make and everyone's just going to love it. Like, they understand like the card-based game. Like, there's a huge audience for that. People loved XCOM. That's there for them. Like the old Alliance games, like that's coming out too. You've got the Guardians of the Galaxy, like Wolverine. Like, they're just so many different genres of gaming are getting this IP. It's brilliant. Love to see it. So this next game I really want to talk about is also from Square Enix, and this one took me so by surprise, and I I am all in on this game. I want to see more about it. I really want to learn. When the trailer started, I thought it was finally like a really cool trailer for the new Final Fantasy game. But it's Forspoken. I don't know if you guys, how you guys feel about that.
Yes.
But like,
Yeah, that looks good.
that modern girl that comes through a portal, ends up in this fantasy world. She's a fantasy world. She's got the rings on and like is getting all these powers, and the world looks gorgeous. The combat looked awesome. The graphics were insane. And it's Square Enix, so you know the story itself is going to be fantastic. And it's, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy coming out, like Square Enix had a big showing. And this is a game I didn't expect. It hit me out of nowhere. I had no idea what was happening the whole time, but I loved it.
I've heard of it before, so I knew of it, and I knew that it was definitely something that was Sony console exclusive. You know, it's Sony and PC, so both of them are coming out in spring. It's gotten delayed a few times, so that's always a worrisome. But you know, Square Enix tends to do that anyway. They tend to get highly aggressive with their release dates, and then they 6 months in and they delay it, and that's fine. But no, that game looks awesome. Like that would be one. You know, if it plays well on a PC, I'd get that, or I could see that making me buy a PlayStation 5. Like that's one of the ones I would say in the list that I could see getting it for that. That's one so far, as long as it was more exclusive, you know, that kind of thing. So, but it looked amazing. It looked great, and it looked like I like the combination of it's not too serious, but it has some like cheekiness to it, but it also has a really cool foundation, and the action looked good. You know,
What was that? What's that Jackie Chan and what is it? Jet Li, I think, movie that's kind of got that same premise. Forbidden Kingdom.
Forbidden Kingdom.
Yeah, where that kid that like goes through a portal and ends up in the kung fu. Like, I loved that. Like, so to have that, it was another like refreshing thing where it's not something you've seen 100 times. Like, that's a cool story arc, and I'm excited to see that.
And the character designs look good.
Together.
You what?
I feel like that was a movie we saw together. Forbidden.
I think it was. Yeah. What do you? What are your thoughts on this one, Russ?
Sorry, you got me as I was trying to drink some water.
Oh no, you're good. Sorry.
I'm really excited about this one. One of the things that we've seen, especially from PS5, they have really feel like they're really pushing things further, because a lot of the games that we've seen coming out far and above like outstrip what we've seen before as far as movement,
trying to push
combat, the
backgrounds,
cinematic quality, the beauty. I mean, and this game captured that. Like at first, this was another one where at first I was like, because at first I was like, what is this story going to be? Okay, we got a modern girl who ends up in this going through this portal. And I was kind of on the fence about it. I was like, as it went on, and her commentary, her dynamic that she's building with whatever this thing is that's attached to her arm, I was like, oh, okay, I'm here for this. Like, because a lot of times you get like that story, it goes in a very angsty route. I don't want to be here. I just want to go home.
Yeah. Why am I here? This is not fair.
But it seemed to go in a very different direction, where she's like, my old life was terrible. This is cool. Super stoked to be here and doing these things. And even though they're dangerous, because that would be my perspective if I were going into a world like that. I mean, my life is pretty good. I love my wife. I'm very happy. But if I went into a magical kingdom, it would be very hard for me to come back, because I'd be like, magic.
This is cool.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I liked.
Like, hey, Lindsay, you just come with me. Like,
Right.
Well, when she did that one big ability, it was super cool, because you know you're gonna be playing it. You know, she did that one ability, and as you as the player going, oh, that's cool. Like her as a character went, oh, that's cool.
That's
like,
cool.
it'll be fun to like.
That sold me,
the character is having those experiences. You are as a gamer in your perspective, and like I'll dig that.
Yeah, the particle effects and the magic swirl that one time where it froze and it did this other, it was really cool. Yeah, and then it looks like it's open world. Like it has that flowing landscape. You see her running through like a big field through forest and things like that, and they pan through. I kind of pulled up the video again just where it was. I'm like looking at it again as we're talking. I was like, there's some really beautiful visuals there too. And that to me is next gen. That's what the next gen games look like. Exactly. And even like in background and close up. Unlike like I said, the Ghostwire, where the close up isn't so great, but the background's great. This is both, and it looks like even the mechanics look good, smooth. You know, so
yeah, it looked really smooth. It looked really fun to play. If a trailer can convey that, especially if it's captured on PS5, like
Yeah.
hopefully that's actually gameplay, which I think it said it was.
Yeah,
There were
it
some
did
spots
say
that
it,
were.
yeah.
Some of it's cinematic and some of it's gameplay. Yep.
I was down for it. I was like, you know what? You've sold me. I'm here for this.
I'm in. Yeah. And then we have and it hasn't I mean I haven't seen much on it, but like we know we're getting the next Final Fantasy 16 is going to be like back to their fantasy roots. And Russ, actually last episode, me and you were talking about how we've noticed a trend where like a lot of like shooters will come out, military stuff, and then we'll get a lot of like fantasy stuff. Like they come around in loops, and we're hoping that what we just talked about is coming true. We've got this Forspoken game coming out, like, and then the next Final Fantasy is going back to those roots, like a lot of fantasy stuff coming out. And then, I mean, this next game, which obviously is huge, like everyone's there for it. It's going to be amazing. And is right on the line of almost everything we're seeing from PlayStation is going to be single player story driven experiences is actual gameplay and an inner look at God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did anyone else bust a nut? Cause I did.
I you know, it's a game that I've looked forward to for a long time. It's not something that I was surprised was coming. You know, we got the trailer last year, shortly after the PS5 launched, or it was before. And to continue the God of War game PS4 was so good, hands down. I mean, because it came out in the same year that Red Dead 2 came out, and hands down to me, it was the best game of the year. Red Dead 2, love that game. I've replayed that game several times. I still have fun in it. God of War, it just the fluidity of the combat,
cinematic too.
Movement.
It's one of those special games,
right?
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah. That does
so,
not happen often that a game can get everything right.
The story was so good, and so I'm so excited to see progression. And I don't think they'll do it, but I really want like Atreus to take Kratos' place. Like I want there to be this natural progression where Atreus or Loki becomes his father, and so I'm excited to see that play out, because obviously in the trailer we saw that he was older. He's where he's a boy of maybe 8 or 10 now. He's an adolescent, probably somewhere in his early teens,
getting a little lippy now.
Yeah,
and
I was like, boy,
yeah. And even at the
waiting for that first moment.
Even at the end of the first one, where he was starting to, he's realizing that his life isn't what he thought it was, and he starts to realize his own independence, and now he's started to try to actualize that.
Yeah.
And you can see that he's more powerful in this game, just from what you can see of the trailers, with bigger, more bombastic effects that he's able to do in the background. Like if you guys were paying attention to that at all.
And the confidence is there.
Yeah. And so I'm super, super excited for this game. It looks good. It looks like a good continuation of what they set up in God of War.
Yeah.
And it has
Norse mythology.
Yes. It has Toby from the West Wing as
which will be And
there's one other thing that kind of I got to laugh out too, where the boy goes to Kratos. He's like, shouldn't you be a general? And he's like, no, immediately. And I just laughed my ass off with that one. Just like, shouldn't you be a general? Which is what happened in the first series, where he was a general and his entire family dies because he was too busy doing war. So like that kind of like callback to I'm pretty sure
originals,
that's what they tried to do there.
Oh,
they call back to the original trilogy, and he's immediately like, no. It's like, you should be a general. No. And then that's because he knows what would happen because he lived that life, right? And so I thought that was kind of a neat little throwback. That one caught me too. But yeah, that's a game that's a console seller to me. That's
absolutely.
that kind of game.
That is
like
going to sell a lot of units.
I always get worried. I get worried though. Like they haven't said the date. I don't think on that one, have they? 22 or 23 yet?
No.
Yeah, I didn't see anything. I looked it up. I didn't see anything on it. I'm just curious always. So
usually Santa Monica, like, because remember the first God of War, it had that trailer, and then the next year they had
gameplay.
It had the teaser, and then the next year they had the trailer, and then within the next year it was released.
Yeah,
it's been pretty quick once they announce it. And I mean, they've been working on this. They started work on this immediately after
the
yeah.
So one could hope maybe next year. That's what we
Yeah,
can-
look, right now I'm looking at the release date is all it says is 2022, so that could be any point.
yeah.
So
It'll probably be late quarter. Usually, I
tend to
have
go
a
fall.
feeling this one will probably be in the fall, probably somewhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas, because that's
Mhm. I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
always when God of War comes out. Is there one that ever came out that wasn't that time period?
I think you're right.
I think
Well,
it's
and
always-
a lot of the games in the showcase are coming out either later this year or in the first half of next year. So like,
Yeah.
this needs to fill that slot,
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
That-
God, that's
that
going to be
was
so
definitely-
good. When Tyr stood up, I was like,
Amazing.
that's a big boy.
It's a big boy. Yeah. It's like, okay, they're going that route, right?
Yeah,
Like, oh,
yeah.
okay, that's cool.
He's their God of War. Hey.
Did you happen to watch any of the post show? Because there was
I
some
did, yeah.
behind the scenes on it, and I did find it interesting because usually they do trilogies, and they said that this Ragnarok was the end of this saga. So like that's at least what he said. So I'm assuming it's like this kind of saga. It's not really a trilogy per se,
Well,
right?
'cause at the beginning, it seemed to indicate that there was another game, because that's what I thought. It was going to
Yeah.
be a trilogy, or at least that's the idea in my head.
Yeah. And then you aim it
Then later
Ragnarok.
on, he was saying like this is the end of this part of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and I think he also said
Obviously
something
that-
about continuing on, like there is gonna be more God of War.
Yeah.
And I think
After
that's where it
this-
comes through, where you were saying like Atreus takes up the mantle and we are playing as Atreus in the future,
In the 1st one, it seemed to indicate that Kratos was gonna die.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a depiction of him laying down with, like, almost like a Tormander being born from him, or some indication with like Loki standing beside him, and it looked like he was dying. Like he pulled back the drape. It's him by himself. Atreus has already run off, and he kind of like sees his dead body there. So
Yeah.
that seemed to be what they were doing. I don't know. I'm really excited to see where they go.
Dad, I put a B on my name. I'm now Atreus. And strangles him. Roll credits. Yeah. But yeah,
Arrow to the
obviously
neck.
everyone's excited for that one. Was there anything here that I like? There's a couple that I didn't really mention that like were like really. I didn't feel like they did, like Blood Hunt coming to PS5. Like that's not a big deal. Like that.
You
It's on Steam too. It's like I didn't really care. Like it's good. I like
No,
it.
it
but
looks
that's-
good, but it's just that it's coming to PS5 trailer. Like that's not a big announcement. Like
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah, it looks interesting. There's been some decent reviews for it, but like not a big
Showed
thing.
A lot more, like, it seems to be a lot more in depth than I had originally thought.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
it seemed to be this arena, but it's also looking like there's, like there are going to be people walking around that you can grab onto and leech from, and
Mhm.
I was even impressed by some of the hand-to-hand combat that they had.
Yeah.
The
The
combat
fighting looks
itself
good.
has seemed to be improved even just since the beta, which I watched some of the beta of.
Mhm.
It seems like there's been some big improvements, and I'm excited to see more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a surprise that's coming to PS5.
Yeah.
Anything else I missed out on there, guys? I think we covered it all.
Yeah, no, those are the big ones. Like you mentioned Gran Turismo. It's like that's great, but I haven't been excited about a Gran Turismo game in over 5 years. So it's like to
If
me, it's
I
like
had-
taking its place.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore.
I wish it was coming. I wish it was at peace. Like if Gran Turismo wants to really compete with Forza, like it needs to launch
Yeah,
on PC.
it's got to be on PC.
That's a big
It can't just
market.
be on Sony.
But like that's a gorgeous.
And they
looking
haven't
game.
evolved the
It's not a
game.
console seller though. Like
The other thing about Gran Turismo is it's a great game. I loved it. I
Some
played
people
1,
miss
2, and 3. Like I played them right.
oh yeah.
And I even had to do the trick where you're like doing the the 100-mile, 100-hour, or whatever thing, where you're doing it for a day and it's just your hands are cramping up. I've done that. It's been there, but like they're not changing gameplay at all. They just like, okay, here's some new cars, here's some new tracks,
It's more of
upgrade
a
graphics, but it's not
simulator
a
than
showpiece.
like Forza.
Well, it's more than the Forza Horizon, but not Forza Primary. Like the
Yeah.
Forza Primary one is really even more techy than that. Like it's just as much. But I just think that the game has been kind of fallen by the wayside, and it looked great. Don't get me wrong, but like I still get more impressed by the interactive environments of Forza Horizon, even more than Forza. To be honest with you, I like Horizon's actually got me more excited about car racing type games than even the original Forza has. But if you like those games, I'm sure love it. But like you said, if it's not on PC, I don't. I personally don't care. It's not. It doesn't sell. That's not a console seller to me anymore. And the
Yeah.
last few have been kind of misses by all accounts anyway. So it's like, okay, great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it was
Overall,
great. I mean, that's a great show. Overall, a great show. I thought it was an A. Like, it was definitely a great show. I got excited about some things I didn't think about before, and I got some more details and ones I was already excited about. Right. So
Yeah. Yeah. As for me, like a PS5 was something I was like, if I get one, it'll be cool. And after the showcase, there's a lot of announcers like, all right, like I legitly want to get a PS5 now. So it did its job. Its job was to get you hyped and get you to want to buy the console, and it worked for me. So that's
didn't quite get there yet just because of timing. Like most of the ones that really really want to play are still like a year away. So like most of the ones that are not, I can play on other options. But yeah, you're right. There's some things I'd be hyped about, but in about a year or two, I'll be more excited if I can get one. I'll be fine. Hey,
And
if I wasn't with kids and stuff like that, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be getting one, no problem. But like get justification of costs and stuff. It's got to balance the time and stuff. But no, it's great. It was It was enough to get me excited, which I'm not. I was not excited about anything Sony this generation at all, other than maybe like the Ratchet and Clank looked awesome. But like, I knew God of War was going to be there, and Horizon's great. But like, that's not gonna. That to me wasn't a console seller. God of War is obviously.
Yeah,
maybe
for sure.
Spider-Man stuff would be. Wolverine probably would be as well. So.
And I'm interested because Russ, you're the only one here that actually has a PS5. So like, from that perspective, this showcase for you, how are you?
I mean, I loved it. I mean, I think Sony. It really kind of blew. They've really kind of cornered the market as far as like consoles go. And I think Microsoft has kind of stepped back and been like, we can make a lot more money focusing on our PC stuff, and then just get a little corner of what you guys are doing if we do some software. And I'm excited. I'm excited that they have this stuff coming out. My top 3: Spider-Man, God of War, and Wolverine. And those are why I bought it. I bought it because I enjoy playing console. Even now that I have a PC, I still enjoy playing console. I've been playing Red Dead the last little while on my console because I enjoy the feel of a controller. I think a lot of it has to do with nostalgia, but also I got a honking TV that's huge and is 4K and does all that stuff. So I'm going to be honest, it actually, like, some of this stuff looks better on my PS5 than it does on my PC.
Oh, yeah.
And, I'm excited. I'm excited to see that stuff. I mean, Spider-Man looks good. Forspoken is another one that looks excellent that I'm excited to explore because it seems like they're pushing the parameters. They're going, okay, because PS4, the difference between PS4 and PS3, like there were games that really did push the boundaries and expanded, but there weren't a lot of like big next gen things. But the leap in technology seems to have allowed them to just blow the top off of what we've seen in gaming so far. And I really hope that they continue to push that. I mean, Hogwarts Legacy looks really good. It looks very different from something that we've seen. Just because you're able to transition from this thing to this thing without a loading screen, which was something that we were promised with the PS4, but really wasn't delivered until now. I can't tell you how quick it is. I play Demon Souls. That is a game that you go back to and you play on PS3, or even Dark Souls on PS4, where Dark Souls 3 on PS4. Long ass loading times. Right, and the loading times on PS5 are boom. It used to be I'd pull out my phone or I'd read a book while I'm sitting there in the loading screen.
Go get some coffee, go
to the bathroom, get a drink.
And the first few times I'm like playing, I was like, oh, I've got a second, I'm gonna go pee, and I come back and I'm dead, and I'm like, oh, crap, I forgot.
The tutorial loading screens are gone.
There's no tooltips.
There's no tips. Yeah. You have to put a button to like push it to continue, kind of thing, right? You don't want to do that even. Yeah.
And so I'm super excited. I'm really happy with my PS5, and I'm glad that I've got it. And these games make me even more happy to have it. I mean, this year has been kind of sucky for games in general. There have been some good ones that have come out, right? But not as many as we would typically see, especially with the launch of a new console.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Because of COVID and things like that, and games being slowed down. But now I think we're starting to see the end of this year, beginning of the next year.
We're getting that
into
launch
2023.
rate. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's starting to be, and that's good because a lot of people haven't had the PS5. A lot of people haven't had the opportunity to get one. And these games are going to be starting to come out, in the next few months. And hopefully by that time, we'll see, hopefully at some point, a surplus. Although I'm wondering if manufacturing will ever be able to catch up to that point, and not for
if you could at least get it without having to like spend a mid-afternoon for like 1 hour before the bots take over, like that's the stuff that you gotta get past, right? Like, both consoles is still that way. It's like you can't just walk in, somebody's like, I'd like to have one of those, or
please
like
and
you can't just go in. Can you pre-order this? And it's like, all right, join the list. Like, that's the tough thing. I have read or heard that some of the Sony's kind of reevaluating maybe some of the architecture to see if they can do something where they can produce it more often. I'm just hoping that those next versions of the generation still, the SSD is going to be that's majority of the hit, but they don't like take a hit back in some ways. I don't think they would release it if it was like taking a hit back, like a slim version. Okay, cool, but like not taking down an NS version, like a lighter version.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the one issue I do have with the new Xbox generation is like, yes, it's great, but it's not an X level in terms of the graphics. Like, it's great, but it doesn't have like 4K. I don't have 4K, so I don't have to worry about that. So it doesn't matter to me. But if I did, I would care, right? So like, whereas Sony's like, both options are there. You don't have to worry about it. Just size, right? So that's the only biggest difference. So I think that's what they're doing right. And you said it, like story-driven games. Sony owns that exclusivity. They have that there. The other games you're going to play on other systems, it's fine, but the ones that you really feel like emotional attachments to and that like zeal to own a console and play it and just chill and relax, that's what they need to do, and that's what they own. They own that.
For sure. Yeah, you're still going to have your Battlefronts and your Call of Duties and stuff. You're on your PlayStation. It's all cross-play and everything. But yeah, Microsoft is way more multiplayer games coming to their console. And PlayStation, that's always been their thing, and it's strong. And I know they were worried for a while that like the single-player experience wasn't as big a market still, and then God of War and Red Dead Redemption, all those games were so successful, thank God, that it showed these companies that like that's still a really great market there, and that's what PlayStation does very well, is the single player experience, and that's why I love PC gaming is my thing, but like playing a single player game is such like I've always thought that's a console experience. Playing through a single player game, controller in hand on a big TV, because you want like the smaller screen for like if you're doing shooters and whatnot, because you don't want to have to look everywhere to see everything. You want to be concise and get it. But yeah, if you have a big, beautiful, gorgeous single player world, open world, single whatever, but like that's what you want to look at. And for all these titles coming out, I definitely want to try to get a PS5 now.
And interact movies. Like most of these games for years have been better than a lot of the movies have been put out, right?
Yeah.
Like I used to say that. I say that about Batman forever. Like I like the Batman movies; they're great. But you look at like the stories behind some of those Batman games, or even the Spider-Man stuff, or even like some of the other ones even before that, the older ones that were the comic years weren't quite as strong. You still have really strong Star Wars stuff. The video games are better than the movies a lot of times. So it's like that's the experience you want to have on a game. Like I want to interactive experience as well. I don't just, because half the time if I'm watching a movie, I'm falling asleep most of the time. I need to be interactive with something to do, I love movies, but like generally I want to have something that's interactive. I can play stuff, and if I'm going to play solo experience, I want to chill and relax, and like you said, push an envelope, right? I want to show off if I bought something new, bought a new sound system or I bought a new console or whatever, I want to show it off, and that's what you need those showcase things for.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know it's there's a lot to talk about in an episode. I know it's super late for you, Clearnite. I know it's later than me for you, Russ. So, I mean, if you guys are cool to like skip all the other stuff that we normally do, I'm cool with that. Especially you, Clearnite. You're our guest and you're the latest right now, I think, right? Yeah. Well, yeah, overall, super excited. Absolutely love to see it. Great conversations about some incredible games coming out. The future of gaming looks bright. After, like Russ said, you know, this last year was kind of because of COVID and everything. Like all the games we're getting upcoming is stuff that probably would have launched with the console, but we're getting it now, and that's it's
AAA
happening.
Content. Yep. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Clearnite, sir, thank you for returning to our episode after a year and our show after a year and a half. Appreciate you being here.
No problem. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, as a Microsoft guy, but a big console player, it was great to hear your opinions on this stuff. Like, where can people find you, man? And if Hoot Dog's ever a thing again, go ahead and plug that.
We'll see. We haven't talked about it for a little while, but basically, most of the networks you can find me on Clearnite, you know, Microsoft, Sony. Like I said, until I get a PS5, I'm probably not going to be loading up much of the Sony stuff right now, just because I can't do loading screens. But like Microsoft, Steam, all those other environments, it's Clearnite. On Twitter, Twitter. I still got the Clearnite _ on Twitter, so I haven't gotten that back yet. So I haven't streamed in a while. I've actually been doing a little bit more YouTube content, although I haven't been publicizing it. Just kind of scratch the itch and try to do that. Like with No Man's Sky, I've been kind of doing some YouTube recordings and such, just to kind of get back into see if I really have the time and energy to do it. As you know, it's definitely takes time and energy to stream and do that sort of interactiveness. So I'm kind of doing there. So at some point I might start tweeting some of my YouTube videos as well with that, because I've just been doing that. It's just easier to deal with than losing videos on Twitch that I don't really stream too much to anymore.
Yeah,
so,
I hear you.
But twitch.tv/Clearnite, I do have that, but I haven't really streamed for a while. But Twitter is probably the best way to contact me, or is Discord. Just see me in JUSTSOMEGUARDIANS, just see me in Elmer's Hoot Dog as well. So I know that there's an upcoming raid race that's coming up. I know some of my guys are getting excited about playing in that. I probably will be more of a bystander watching that, but that looks pretty exciting too, coming up next week. So then glad you are still doing the community stuff, so I appreciate that, which is pretty cool. So, but yep, that's me, Clearnite.
Hell yeah, man. Russell, my God, brother, you are just, God damn it, you're beautiful.
Same goes for you, sexy.
Damn, your hair is just flawless.
It's a little greasy right now. I need to shower.
I'm having withdrawals. Honestly, I'm having withdrawals. Like, you came out for my birthday, and like a couple weeks later, we were at the wedding. Like, in less than a month, we got to hang out twice.
No.
And then like, it's rough right now, man.
I'm jonesing for some Brett.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, where can people find you, brother?
They can find me in Texas. But also people can find me on Twitter at ERJEX, that's JEX 7250. I don't post a lot. I usually, if you do follow me, you'll probably get a bunch of stuff that I've liked that's like different comic book artists and things like that. Because I love looking at that kind of stuff. You can also find me on Discord, Jackal 7250, and I'm somewhat active in there. Haven't been for a while. I've been kind of sick, but I I love to play D&D. Anybody wants me to play on the
Nasty Rooms will do that.
Did other groomsmen ever get with you? I haven't heard anything from him.
No, I was actually thinking about that today.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I was thinking about that yesterday.
And be like, hey man, what's
the deal? Yeah,
I'm ready to play some D&D.
You got us excited. We fell in love with you, and then you abandoned us immediately.
I know.
What a dick.
I know. No, I think he's a lovely person. I'm excited to get to know him better. But yeah, I mean, anybody wants me to play on their D&D campaign, I am not up to DMing at the moment, so don't even ask.
Yep. Hell yeah. Well, before I get into all the outro stuff, I did want to mention, Clearnite brought it up, but next weekend on the 18th, so I have, I guess as an update real quick for me, because of everything going on with, the Blizzard Activision stuff, which we've talked about, we're not supporting any of that stuff. So the Warzone tournaments aren't happening. I had my last Apex tournament, which is our 24th. So 2 years of those going on. which was an incredible experience. We had a great showing, ton of fun, super emotional. I cried. It was a whole thing. Don't worry about it. But me doing events and stuff is not over. So next weekend on the 18th, I'm attempting to put together a Destiny event. So we're doing a raid marathon. So from 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern time, running Deepstone Crypt, Garden of Salvation, and Vault of Glass. So you get your team together, time starts, and you guys are trying to plow through those raids in whatever order you want, and trying to get through with the fastest time. It's gonna be difficult. Once again, if you've never had someone shoutcast and you've always were like, I wonder what it'd be like to cast my raid experience. Me and Cheesy will be getting drunk and making fun of you raiding. So that is an experience there. But just like playing a game you normally do, but knowing that you're competing with other people that you can't see at the same time just changes your mind and how you play the game. So I'm hoping that comes through. Like, that's been a great feedback from the tournaments I've ran. So I'm hopefully that comes through for this. But yeah, if you've got a team and you're interested, like, hit me up for the socials that I will mention here shortly. And I'm very excited to see how this goes. And there's other raids to do. So if this is a success, I will definitely do a couple more of these events as we go. So thank you all for joining us for episode 106 of Just Some Guardians. When we do the show, we are live. Twitch.tv/JustSomeGuardians. Just go to the website, folks. JustSomeGuardians.com, which I did actually sit down this last week and updated, not a lot, but I got rid of all the Destiny shit.
I feel so bad because that was my job and I didn't.
That's all right.
Granted, Gunbait did not get the stuff to me until like a month ago. So log in.
Still a month ago. No, just kidding.
A month.
Nah, dude,
One
you're
job.
good. No worries, brother. No worries. It's been good for me to try to learn how to do stuff. So, so the website's not Destiny themed because the show's not Destiny themed anymore. I've got some better about info on there. Better description of us. The hosts. We've pictures there. I still need a picture from you, Russ. I just have the picture from the wedding of you with the fan right now as a placeholder.
You know what? That's a great picture.
It is a good picture. You should go JustSomeGuardians.com. Our Twitch is embedded in there. Our Twitter's not our Twitter. Our YouTube's embedded in there, and our audio feed is all there. So whichever way you want to experience this content, just go to the website. Check it out there. And if you're out there and you want to write a review or some sort of blog post about something that you're interested in, like Gunbait wrote one years ago about fairness and difficulties in gaming and stuff. If that's something you want to write, we have a section on our website for that. I'd love to hear from you guys. Get some articles posted from you in the community. Please check that out. Hell yeah. As for myself, I'm ELMMERFUDD. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all those places at ELMMERFUDD Games. Double M, double D. That's been a hot minute. Russell, take us out.
Join us next week on Just Some Guardians for mutual chaos and utter incompetency.
Oh, and
Nice.
a show has been recorded. We're at it again, Russ.
Nope.
Yep.
Yep. That'll be a good outro right there.